But
Absolutely, the dynamic.
Yeah, it's a good dynamic. All right, I'm going to press the magic button.
Magic.
Ready, set,
Let's go! Let's go! This is where we dance.
We used to go out on Fridays, I swear to
Friday
God.
nights.
But it's cold outside, so we're keeping it indoors.
And we are live. Hi, everyone. I am Nick.
And I'm Maria.
And today, our special guest is
My2credits.
my2credits, aka Zane.
Awesome.
Hi, everyone.
Yes. Welcome.
I love the music. It's perfect.
It's pep.
Our son put that together for
Yeah,
us. So
we have a
Amazing.
little
started.
kid composer.
But welcome to Full of Bricks, Season 4, Episode 42.
42.
And today is November 3rd,
how is it
2023. Already
Yeah.
November.
How is it November? Yes.
And we already do have some people in the chat.
Oh, awesome. Hey, Nikki Bricks.
We have Nikki Bricks, who
Hi,
I
Nikki.
guess early on. Let's get hyped for Zane. And we also have Secret Squirrel.
Secret Squirrel.
Hello,
Hello.
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 Secret Squirrel has been on Full of Brick, but I
Mhm.
see him a lot around in other live streams. Secret Squirrel. And we have
Clever Pig.
Clever
What's
Pig.
with Zane, Nick, and Maria? How are you? How are you?
I hope everyone's having a great Friday night.
So before we even start,
Yeah.
I got a message from Zane.
Yeah.
There's a Captain Rex fiasco
Yeah.
happening. What's
What's
what
going
is-
on?
What's this Captain Rex?
Controversy.
What is going on?
So I feel like this skips a little bit because normally this would be in the news section that you guys do, but it needs to be addressed.
Yeah.
This
Let's
is important.
get it out.
Breaking news.
Sometimes you have before you get into the main story, you kind of have a spoiler of
We have
what
a
the
little-
story will be.
Whet our appetite.
So fans are reacting to this news that came out today that there's going to be, I think it's a microfighter for
Okay.
Y-Wing for Captain Rex, and the
Oh.
Captain Rex minifig that is in the UCS Venator is going to be in this microfighter set. And this set is like $12, $13, something like that.
We're buying 10 of those.
And right, it's accessible, right? But people are losing their minds because people are
Venator.
saying, "Oh, I spent
Correct.
$600 for my Venator."
Wow.
Or $600 for Rex, and it's like, no, you spent $600 for the UCS Venator.
That's
I know.
right.
Rex was just like gravy on top. It was included in there, right?
Yes. Yes.
And also, like, no one made you buy it. You chose to
Correct.
buy it, right?
Correct.
So
and I
people are
almost
losing
wonder
their
whether,
minds.
yeah, that's crazy. When did you find that? Just today?
Yeah, I saw it. Actually, I saw it from Nikki, who put it on her story.
Oh.
And I think she had posted it from, I think it was Falcon 1414. I forget the username, but I
Okay.
think they're usually pretty
Okay,
prominent
okay.
leakers too.
Falcon
but-
fan.
Yeah, but the thing is like, if you're upset that it's more accessible to like younger fans or fans
Yeah.
that don't have the money for $600, like that $600 is a lot of money that can go towards like a family vacation. It can go towards
Yeah.
a gaming console. Like that's a lot of money, right?
Yeah.
Now I will say that a part of the reason why fans are upset is that apparently in the booklet, Lego mentioned that this figure, the Rex figure, will be exclusive to the Venator. So in that sense, like Lego did shoot themselves in the foot. They
Yes.
probably shouldn't have
Yeah.
done that, right? But at the same time, like mistakes happen. I get it. Is it a good mistake to make? No, of course not. But I think
That's
the people that are actually upset are the ones that jumped on early. They went on resale. They tried to buy the fig from
Mhm.
someone, or the people that wanted to like profit
Yes.
off of this thing. And it's like, I understand that Lego has become a very hot like collector's thing. I get it.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, it is still a toy, and there's still
Right.
it's a pretty big like fan favorite character, right? There's still plenty of people that either have never had a chance to buy it because they were younger when that set came out and Rex was
Sure.
available, or they just don't have the money. So why are people up in arms that this figure is going to be available? And by the way, it's a leak. It's not confirmed, right?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
hasn't
yeah.
come out the news.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a leak.
You heard it kind of first, but not first.
But usually
here.
Falcon
Yeah.
fan is a reliable
Right,
source.
right. But it's like I was telling you guys, right? This is what makes me go like this, because it's like, why are we so upset
Yeah,
about
yeah, yeah.
kids being able to buy a
Yeah.
minifig? Like,
Yeah.
And I
Exactly.
almost
That's
feel
part
like
of it. Like it removes the love of Lego, right? Like we all got into it because of a love for Lego. Like I was obsessed with minifigs for the longest time, and I still am. And again, you're right. It's like it needs to be neutralized in a sense, right? Like the main reason why people buy the Venator is the ship,
Yeah.
right? Is the ship.
Is the Captain Rex torso different, or what's special about this Captain Rex compared to
the
past
leak
ones?
said that it's the exact same thing. I don't know if
I mean,
that's
like the
going
one
to be
from
true
the
or not.
Venator. Is
Yeah,
the one from the Venator? Is it a special Captain Rex, or is it what's
it's
different?
different than the other. Yeah, it's different than the other ones. I think it doesn't have like the waistcloth cape that like old Rexes had, right? So it's a bit different than what you'd have like back in the Clone Wars sets days.
Okay.
But this set that's supposed to be in the microfetter is supposedly the exact same as what was in the Venator. But again, like it just I feel like the sense of entitlement is very, very high. And
It's like the goat, because the Lego goat is going to be coming out in the new CMF
Yeah.
series, and now all those goats that are selling for $50 are going to go like way down, unless
But
unless the print is different.
I think it's a different mold. But either way, like the point remains, right? Like, why are we mad about this? And like
Right.
I feel
Yeah.
for Lego in the sense that it's like it's kind of you're gonna get yelled at if you do something, and you're gonna get yelled at if you don't
If
do
you don't.
something. So
Correct.
fans are gonna be upset no matter what. And it's like, well, as a company, what do you do?
Correct.
Right?
Right.
So I just
But
it seems
more,
unnecessary.
if anybody has any comment about this, please share in the comments over here. But
So speaking of comments, we also have a few more people that just joined the chat. We have Stud Sidious and Rob Claxton. Where'd he go? Here.
Right
Rob
there.
Claxton is in here. And Brick Jedi. Hello, Brick Jedi. Ahoy, ahoy. Sorry, you were saying?
But before we get further into this, we should start moving into the
our first segment.
So we can know more about Mr. My Two Credits.
Our first segment, which is getting to know Zane, aka My Two Credits.
So even if we said that our son composed a lot of our songs, not that one. We can't take the copyright for that one. That one's very known.
That's CSI.
It still works though. Like it's a good fit. I like it.
Yeah.
So why My Two Credits?
Yeah, why My Two Credits?
My wife will tell anyone that I am very opinionated.
Oh, you want to give your 2 cents?
There you go. Yeah, but make it Star Wars, right? So My Two Credits, My 2 cents.
I see.
Yep. So it just kind of happened. I was thinking of like a unique name, and that's what came to mind.
So within your like content creation, you give your 2 cents, your opinions in many different topics, basically. Is that right?
I mean, I do, but at the same time, like, so when I started my account, I have been in the content creation. I say that because I'm so small, right? I've probably been doing it for a little over a year now. Hey, Danny. And I started with like books because like I love Star Wars books, right? And
I love that you have all these like stories that you go to Barnes and Noble. I was just like, I want to go to Barnes and Noble.
She saw on your Instagram, like,
I know.
What?
I was like, oh, finally someone is going to Barnes and Noble.
I would say more than Barnes and Noble. I actually really like going to the library. Like growing up,
yeah.
And this connects to like the minifig too. Like growing up, my family didn't have much money. I spent a lot of time in the library. I'd be there after school. Like I was reading a lot, right? So even to this date, like when I have new friends that I meet or new people in the community that want to read about books, and I'm like, hey, I understand that buying these books can get pretty expensive, and everyone has different priorities, right? I remember growing up, I was talking to Clever Pig about this, is that growing up, if I got a 99-cent Hot Wheel car, that was a good day. You know what I mean? So like books are expensive. They add up pretty quickly. And if you don't know what you want to read, the library is a great way to go through that and see if you actually want to get into like Star Wars books or whatever that looks like, right? So I started doing books, and then Lego is the first toy that I've ever had that I ever remember. So naturally, like I think like most adults, you go through a dark ages at some point, right? For me, that was definitely in like my teens through my 20s. And I came back probably around like 2015 or so. And at the time, I didn't really know about any of this stuff about like communities and like YouTube and all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
I would say that was more like recently and
post-pandemic.
Yeah, I mean, I think I had seen stuff, but like when you're in the pandemic, you start getting a little stir crazy. You want to figure out like what are things that I can do, and I was just feeling this creative rut. And so from a creative mindset, I wanted to really just start getting into this. And so I learned how to do like video editing and all this stuff, and that led to like creating a YouTube channel and all these things. So yeah, but I think you know, the opinion part on the books is I'll give my opinion on a book, like here's how I reviewed this, here's my rating for it. But at the end of the day, like if you like something that I didn't, like that's totally cool.
Fine.
Like
Yeah,
like
Those are your
people
credits.
yeah, people get really upset when you don't like the same stuff as them, and it's
I
like no,
know.
like
No.
you
I'm
live
all
your
about the
life, like
conversation. I like discussions over things. It's fine to not agree, right? But it's cool when you actually like read a book and then realize there's somebody else has a different spin on it, and you're like, oh, I never thought of it like that. And it's, I don't know, it broadens your mindset. I appreciate always like something like that. So
as long as you're cordial about it, right?
Yeah,
you can have different views on fandom, but there's no need to be rude to someone about it, right? Just because they like something that you don't like, it's not the end of the world.
If anything, fandom should bring people together, right? Like I'm a book obsessed kind of person, and same like you. Like I love going to bookstores, but also libraries. Like grew up in and even now, like if we have like a ton of Lego, I have a ton of books, which I realize like one day, like I need to figure out who will have it, or I will just give it. You know, I have our 3 boys, and I don't want to weigh them down by my passion. It doesn't seem fair, right? But I need them to want these books. Otherwise, I'm happy to give them to the library or however, right? But as I get older, I'm more again back to receptiveness of, hey, ebooks are available, or I go to the library and I just borrow those things again, because why not? These are where libraries used to be the cornerstones of communities. And if anything, it's like if it's already a service available for you. I mean, I do like touching new books, don't get me wrong.
Maria likes to keep her books in mint condition. So she'll buy a book, but then she'll go to the library and get the exact book so she can actually open it and read it.
Moving on from that, but yeah.
I get it. Like, it's how you enjoy your fandom. There's nothing wrong with that. Like from your kids, is there any specific one that has gravitated towards the books and like kind of laid their claim?
Mason?
No, nobody's claimed. Okay, so the books that I particularly have been collecting since I was little, and it was just by fluke that I like books in general. Yeah, they're a series called Everyman's Library, and they just really cover like a lot of classics, but even modern classics. And so it's a library of books, but they're all the same format. Like
it has a distinct
cloth-bound look,
distinct
right?
spine.
And so it covers from anyone from Jane Austen to someone like Ishiguro, for example, right? So from classic to modern, and even like the Bible is printed in an Everyman library, and Hindu scriptures. And I just finished reading Marcus Aurelius, the Meditations again, right? So it has it. But no, my boys have not gone, ooh, Mom, I love this.
They don't even do that for the Lego anymore.
They don't do that.
Oh, really?
They're kind of over Lego.
We have made things very boring for our children.
Interesting.
Because it's here.
Like the eldest is more into anime. Yeah. And now he's sucking everyone else into anime. So the middle guy.
They're falling into their own interests, which is how, I guess.
So Harold collects the anime figures, and that's what they're into now. These...
So they wish we live closer to Harold, and we don't.
Okay.
and but in terms of
but in terms of the books that you read and
you're
review,
specific to Star Wars.
Yeah, we noticed a lot of. So is that Star Wars Extended Universe?
These are all from the new ones that Disney produced, all the current canon books.
Because some of the covers are beautiful.
There's a lot of really nice covers for sure. Some of the
what's the time period? Is it before or?
Okay, so the top shelf that you can see is pretty much all the Rebellion era. So between episodes 3 leading up to like 6-ish. The ones on the end that you see, the Thrawn ones, the Ascendancy, that's actually in the Clone Wars period. It's a prequel. But I just didn't have any space, and I wanted to give Thrawn his own little room, so I put that there. Below that is a combination of prequels and then also like post episode 6. And then the very bottom that you can kind of see, not really, is the High Republic.
Nice.
Yeah. And the High Republic. Oh, sorry.
go ahead,
The
go
High
ahead.
Republic is like way before everything, like before episode 1. Like
Yes.
we're talking like
Oh,
100, 200 years before all that.
Yeah.
Is that
So,
that's like the old Republic Lego sets, right?
so the
Like,
Old
or is that different?
Republic, yeah, it's different. Old Republic is something that was EU, and they've no longer made that. Like that's no longer canon,
Okay,
right? It's the KOTOR stuff, right?
That's the extended
Um,
universe.
Yeah, that's what Disney has now branded as Legends, right? The High
Yeah.
Republic is basically what Disney has installed instead.
Okay.
Now they may still return to like an Old Republic at some point, possibly, but
Yeah.
right now that's what's there. And so, like, if you're familiar with the concept of the Acolyte show, the High Republic is
Yes.
in that time period.
That's gonna come, right? Acolytes?
So
Or
far,
maybe not.
it
They
sounds.
canceled.
I mean, I don't
Or
think
did
it's
they
been
cancel
canceled.
it?
It hasn't been
Okay.
canceled,
Okay.
but I think that news has been kind of like we don't know when it's coming out
Yeah,
right now.
yeah.
You know.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
I was gonna say when I zoomed in here like this, it looks like Zane is short,
He told me you're super tall.
but he's not.
Yeah, I So I have a standing desk, and I'm actually like I'm 6'2".
Okay.
But like the way this desk is, and the way I have the camera set up, it makes it look like I'm very short. But I'm
Yeah,
pretty tall.
I'm as tall as the figure on your shirt.
Yeah, Maria's 5 foot even, so
I'm
she'll
5
be
foot
like
nothing.
come up to here.
That's okay. But yeah.
Yeah,
It's
so
always when I meet people and they are just very surprised by how tall I am.
yeah, so I met Zane at Brick
Yeah.
Slopes, and he was actually one of 4 Zanes. There were like
It's a popular
4
name.
Zanes there, all different spellings.
Yeah, we met 3 of them. So there was Zane from Block Studios, that's
Mhm.
Zane, and there was another Zane. We met him on the last day, and I think you are correct that there was a 4th Zane, but we never met that one.
Yeah, they said there wasn't.
Yeah, but I have like I don't really know many Zanes to begin with, so that the
A
fact that
friend
there
of
was
mine just had a
3 of
baby and
us,
she named her new
Yes.
baby son
Really?
Zane. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then so
Yeah.
it's a popular, trendy name, if anything.
we did the Spider-Man meme because all 3 of us had won a raffle prize, so we were like,
Oh, that's funny.
yeah. So
That's funny.
it was pretty good. It was pretty good.
So what did you think about Brick Slopes?
Was that the first time you've been?
Brick Slopes not only was my first time at Brick Slopes, it was my first Lego convention.
Oh, cool.
And I had originally really wanted to go to Brick World this year,
Yes.
but I am very like I think a lot about like the money that I spend and should I be spending it,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
And
Gotcha.
and because I've traveled a lot, for me, I look at like I don't FOMO into things.
Mhm,
Mhm.
So
mhm.
I can't justify prices, right? So for example, I know that a round trip for me, depending on when I want to go to London, will cost me like $800. Right?
Yes, yes.
You're
Uh,
coming from California, right?
I'm coming from California. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
And so for me, by the time I was looking at prices, I could no longer justify
Oh, I
spending
know what you mean.
$500
Yeah.
for
to go
a
to
flight
Chicago.
alone, for
Yes.
Chicago. And I'm like, well, I
Yes.
know that if I spend a little bit more, I'm in London. I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
do that, right?
Yeah,
Whereas
yeah,
had I
Utah's
bought-
close, right?
Yeah, whereas
Utah's
had I-
close to you.
Yeah, Utah's like an hour and a half flight. Whereas had
Yeah.
I bought my ticket for
Mm.
Brick World earlier,
I
maybe it's like 300 or
know.
400, right? And like
Mm.
maybe I could have
know.
gotten hotels at a much cheaper price. So
For
I
sure.
refuse to FOMO into these bad kind of things, right?
Correct,
Yeah,
correct.
yeah.
There's
Um,
always next year.
Right.
2024.
Right. And so and then I was like, okay, well, what can I look at instead? And I looked
Mhm.
at Brick Slopes, and originally I wasn't going to be able to go because the day I was going to book my flight, we got a wedding invitation from one of my
Oh.
wife's friends, and I was like, oh shoot, okay, we can't go to Brick Slopes, right? But eventually it turned out that because we were originally going to drive down to SoCal for the wedding.
Oh,
But
okay,
then
okay.
Southwest ended up having this sale, and we're like, oh, well, we can now, instead of driving down and taking all the time, why don't we fly down to SoCal, and then we'll attend the wedding, and then I'll fly up to Brick Slopes on my own.
Whoa, that's fun.
Okay.
Because like I've done plenty of solo travel. It doesn't bother me
Right,
at
right.
all, you know?
Right.
She's
And
not
with
into
that-
Lego. She was like,
She-
you go.
She builds with me all the time.
Oh,
okay.
But like, she's like, this is your thing. Like, you know,
Mhm,
like
mhm.
meeting people, the content creation, like that's your thing. I'm
yeah,
good.
yeah. You
I'll
enjoy.
spend time.
Yeah.
I'll spend time with like her family. I'll spend time with our niece. All that stuff. Like it's all
Correct.
good. You
Uh-huh.
go, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So basically, it was kind of a whirlwind. Like I had flown down to SoCal. We did the wedding, and like literally the next day, like I flew out first thing in the morning, and then I was at Brick Slopes Saturday and Sunday, and then I flew out
Yes.
on Monday. So, but it was
Mhm.
I had heard a lot of good things about brick slopes, and that's what made me really kind of gravitate towards it, because I heard that, you know, it's a much more of a smaller community feel
Yeah.
than just kind of the
Large scale.
like Brick
Chicago.
World. What I've heard is kind of like the Super Bowl event, like the who's who, everyone's there, right? And so you don't get that
Yeah.
tight knit feeling of stuff.
Mhm.
You might meet someone in passing, but you won't really have these like sit down, like heart to heart conversations, that kind of thing, right? Like, so to me,
Mhm.
I was like, well, for my first kind of event, probably makes more sense to kind of check this
Yeah,
out
that's
first,
good.
right? But because Brick Slopes is so close to me and I enjoyed it so much, like Cody puts on a great show, all those guys do,
Yeah.
and it just felt very like the community was just fantastic, right? And because it's so
Mhm.
close to me, I feel like if I had to pick one a year, that's probably what I would gravitate towards,
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
because of like the logistics around it, right?
For sure.
The only regret that I have is I had used my points to book my hotel. So I did that
Oh,
instead of like staying at like the hotel,
Yeah, that
like
he's
the
where
recommending
everyone
with
is
a
staying.
yeah,
discount.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
That's
like
right.
it's not like I was far. Like I definitely went out there several times to hang out with these guys.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But I think that like the late nights, you stay longer
Yeah.
or you hang out longer and all these things, right? So I see the logic or the value in staying at the same hotel as
Yeah.
everyone, because it just makes things a bit more convenient, right?
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
But
Yeah, I
overall,
agree
yeah, it
with
was
you
a
with
great event.
I agree with you with the tight knit conversations,
Feelings,
because
yeah.
in at Brick Slopes, we were just like
Hanging
with
out.
you too, just like hanging around the couch there, just chatting for a long time. Whereas Brick World Chicago, it was just like so busy, it
Yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
going everywhere.
There's already familiar faces that you've connected with, so it's like a hi reunion, and
Yeah.
then there's all the other people that you want to meet, and I run into like, oh my god, I know that person, and next like, yeah, you saw them on TV, you don't know them, so
You saw
I'm
them
like,
on
and I'm already
Lego
like chatting with them. I'm like,
Masters.
oh hey, how's it going? And I'm sure this
Yeah.
person's like, I'm trying to equate where I see you, and I'm like, no, you don't know me. And then Nick like, we don't really know him, but you've watched all episodes of his show. I'm like, oh, nice to meet you. Okay, bye. But it was, again, I feel like the Lego community is very warm. Like
Yeah.
when the boys were younger, we'd drive to Philly, but even Chicago, it's a drive for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
Like you said, I totally agree. Like flights are crazy. Like
Right.
we usually fly to Florida from Buffalo, and I was tracking it for forever. And you're right. It's like at a certain point, I'm like, okay, I have to like just commit because it's not abating.
When
Right?
my flight to Utah, if I had flown from Toronto, it would have been 800.
Yeah, 900.
900. I flew from Buffalo, it was 400, but I
Yeah.
had three stopovers. It was like
Yeah.
Buffalo to New York,
And
New
then
York to
Texas.
Dallas,
Yeah,
and then
Dallas.
Dallas to
I remember you told me your flight plan, and I'm like, that's crazy. Like, granted, like for the cost, totally get it, right? I understand. But I'm
I
really
still got
tall.
there in time
and
for the opening.
You're really tall.
that I'm really
Oh,
tall,
yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
and like being on a plane and that many planes and that much travel, like I would be so exhausted.
Yeah.
Like
I didn't think of that perspective.
Yeah.
Well, we saved the money.
Yeah,
That-
yeah.
That's a
Right.
good
No,
module
totally.
right there.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah,
that part
Yeah.
completely makes sense, and that's about the only way I could justify it. Like I
Yeah,
try to
yeah,
go as much as I can. I try to do nonstop if I can help it. Like that's my my goal, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember you had a crazy long flight.
I think that's like of all of like, I mean, I'm used to traveling too, but we usually go to
Yeah.
Buffalo. And I mean, here I'm like toting 3 boys, right? Usually.
Yeah.
And we're okay with like pit overs, but it's usually like 1. I think this beats everything. I've never done 1, 2, 3 and then destination, but we really couldn't find anything else that I'm like, okay, like, and he was just going by himself, right?
Oh,
Ultimately,
that sounds awful.
ultimately, like we're a little bit used to that. When we cross the border, nobody's in the lineup, right?
Yeah.
They're like, anything, what are you guys doing here? They already know there's all these Canadians who like fly out of Buffalo, so they just like wave us in, forget about your Nexus pass, and then on the way back, I get some cheese from Walmart, and I'm happy. Like,
my wife is still upset that when we went to Calgary, because we went to Banff a couple of years ago.
Oh, nice.
We have yet to get a Canadian passport stamp, because apparently they don't do that for the US people anymore.
No, we're too neighbor. They don't care. They just look at your thing. They scan, and we don't, right? Like we went to Punta Cana earlier this summer, first time like in a resort, because I'm more city than resort.
Okay.
So it's an interesting experience overall.
Yeah.
But when they took our passport, they gave us a stamp, and it's the first stamp in this passports that we have, because like we haven't done much international in a long time,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
it's our passports are gonna expire soon, and it's gonna be the sole
One stamp.
Dominican Republic stamp. But we go enough across the border,
Yeah.
they just really scan you and they just ask you
Yeah.
where are you guys going, and we'll always say, something about Lego. They're like, really? I'm like, yep.
Do you have any plan for next year that you guys
In
are like
terms
for
of
sure conventions that you're like for sure going to?
conventions?
Yeah.
I want to go to Chicago again.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we'll see if for Brick Slopes, if
Yeah. So it's
depending on your work.
You're right. I have to take usually at work anyways, request time off at the beginning of the year. So I have to like plan out my weeks. And also like I said, with the boys' summer vacation.
And I know a bunch of those guys like more Fred Pan Nudo.
Yeah.
They're thinking about Bricks Cascade in Oregon.
Because
Amore's in Oregon, and I guess it's not too far from California. And I think that's in March.
Oh, that's in March.
So
okay.
I'm not sure yet about that one, but what about yourself? What were you thinking?
I don't have any plan right now. I will probably try to go to Brick Slopes, but I don't have anything planned right now. I would like to go to one, but like it's one of those things where you have to weigh everything, right? Because like that's money that you can spend on another vacation, right? Or on something else. And it's like, do you just pick one a year, and like how do you balance that with like your aspirations in terms of like content? Like one of the things that I did at Brick Slopes that just kind of happened to come about was in talking to a few of the creators, I was like, oh, I'd love to interview you about like your creation, right? Because people love talking about what they've built, and you get to showcase it to people out there. So like I met Elliot there, and I met West Valley Brick Builders, right? And I talked to them about both of their mocks, and they had won awards. And so it just turned into this thing that I was just kind of talking to them.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how I'm going to use this, but I want to at least be able to record it to learn the conversation as I'm learning how to mock too, because like I don't have experience with this, and I want to learn from people that clearly I will like aspire to, because their designs are incredible, right?
Yeah.
And they deserve to be showcased. But then when I ended up doing that, I posted on YouTube and it ended up doing pretty well. So I'm like, oh, I could make this into a series, right? So it's like, well, if you go to other conventions, now you can make this a continuing series of like, hey, conversations with Lego award winners, and talking to people about their sets. But at the same time, like, that all costs money, right?
Of course, just to get there. Yeah. No one's flying you there for sure. No.
Right.
Like we make these things like a family trip all together, right?
Yeah. But I look at like my wife and I, we are pretty big on traveling, right? And so like, well, we haven't gone to Wimbledon since the pandemic. And it's well, when do we want to do that again? Right. Or do we want to go somewhere in Europe again? Do we want to explore somewhere else in the world? And it's like,
for sure,
those things add up. And
for sure,
I look at my dark ages as, in my 20s, I didn't really do much with Lego because I was spending my money on travel. Like I am very fortunate to say that I have been to 30 odd countries and like 30 odd states, right? But
that's
like
your passion, really. You should be
right. But like Lego is a very fun thing for me too, right?
Yeah,
and it's like, you can't always have everything unless you're just completely freaking loaded, right?
Right.
But when you look at Lego, like people easily spend thousands on Lego a year if you're buying the modulars, if you're buying like the worst thing that you can do to a Lego fan is introduce a new theme, right? Like
like dreams.
Yeah, right. Or just like being like, oh, like, well, now I need to catch up on X, Y, and Z, or like, oh, now I like. For the longest time, I had no interest in a Lego city, right?
Yeah.
But as I got older, I'm like,
well, this is it, right? Values will shift. Your interests kind of shift a bit.
So do you collect the modulars as well? Because I know you're mostly Star Wars.
I don't really look at myself. I feel like there's so many ways to define what a collector is, right? Like I am not someone that wants to keep things sealed in a box. Like, so that kind of collector, that's not me. I want to.
But have you build them? Have you bought some modulars?
I bought some modulars. The bookshop is behind me. That's the first building that I put in my Lego city, right? I have the boutique hotel. I have the Parisian restaurant. And then I have like some that not modulars, but like other things that I can show them Star Wars. I have like other things that I can put into the city if I wanted to, right? So if I wanted to give it like a European theme, I could put in the Tower Bridge. I could put in Big Ben, right? or UK theme, if you will, right? So I have a lot of things that I can do with that. And ultimately what I want to get to is learning how to mock on my own so that I'm not reliant on the modulars. Because like the modulars, they're really cool. Don't get me wrong. But
everyone has them. You want a unique city.
Yeah, you want to have your own city and you want to be able to do your own thing. Like I love Eastern Europe, right? Like the Balkan regions of Europe.
Cool.
So like the orange roofs and all that stuff. So like I want to be able to figure out how to do that.
Yeah.
You have a different perspective since you've been to so many of these different cities.
You have already inspirations and a vision of your potential designs, right?
Right. But because I've never done modules before, I feel like I start here, learn the techniques, figure things out.
Sure.
Use
and
it as a
then
template.
kind of go my way. Yeah.
Yes.
And then also things that you can just kind of learn, right? So like at conventions, you'll see different ideas and be like, how can I bounce this off and make it my own?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
I'm floored by, again, people's creativity, right? Like the pieces that you would not otherwise have thought to be used for to create something. And you're like, wow.
All the nice parts usage.
Exactly.
That's something good about Brick Slopes compared to Brick World. At Brick Slopes, you had tons of times to actually stand in front of a mock and pick it apart, look at different things, different techniques. Whereas in Brick World Chicago, it was so
dense,
big and dense. It's hard to actually stay in one spot.
Interesting.
Because people are wanting to look too.
Yeah.
So you don't want to be hogging the spot.
So going to the private days are actually worthwhile because you do have that space and time to really go through the convention, and it's your private moment. But even then, like this is her first year previous. And like I said, like I'm more city, and I really like just dropped him and Harold at the convention. And then I would take the boys and we would gallivant through Chicago. And we've been to Chicago a number of times already. And I'm always like going through, okay, what haven't I seen? Right. But then we'd go back at night again and then be back to looking at the different Legos. But the private days were already getting quite busy because of all the content creators were there.
Right.
But I can't even imagine the public days because I'm like, wow, this could have been a crush. And he said it was a crush. Like I think his plans next year is not to even bring anything to exhibit.
Yeah,
he just wants to be I
want to roam around.
Did you display at Brick World?
Yeah,
I did. I brought my Micro Ninjago city mocks and also my Micro Amusement Park. I brought.
That's awesome.
So for your Lego city, where is it? Is it like in a different room? Is it in this same room but off camera, or is it right behind you?
It's right behind me. I've only recently started it.
Very nice.
It's not very far along.
Okay.
I want to like. Part of my channel is showing the growth of it and how I expand it, right?
The evolution.
Yeah, and I feel like you can go on this journey with me of like someone that doesn't have a Lego city. And over the years of where that long, you can see the evolution. I'm like, hey, what did he add? Where did he change? All that stuff, right? And so the first building that I did was a bookshop. I actually didn't like the apartment next to it. So I haven't built that one.
Oh, okay.
And one of the things that I've done is, as I'm looking at it and learning the techniques, I look at what are things that I want to change to this modular to make it my own. So I looked at this bookshop. I'm like, it looked really nice, but it's really tiny. So can I expand this and make it bigger? And like, can I add like a sliding bookcase door to it?
Ooh,
and then in the next room have it be like a speakeasy bar that's part of the bookshop, right? And just kind of make it my own in that sense, right? And then like on this plate right here, I learned how to, I don't know if it'll show. I learned how to do a masonry brick road, right?
Oh, very nice.
and figuring out like, how do I want to build that? And then it's like, well, how do I expand that? Or do I just want the masonry brick road to be like the sidewalk, right?
Didn't you at Brick Slopes? We talked about that. There was someone had a masonry brick road.
Yeah, I saw someone have it.
You take that, like
because it's like because like I never got a chance to meet that person, right? To ask them like, how did you do it, right? But then the idea was now there, and it's like, for an old town part of the European region, that makes complete sense. But because I never got to meet that person, how do I figure out how to do my own? And that's where the trial and error comes. And I'm actually quite happy with how it turned out, right? Like you
take pictures, and then you're able to.
The pictures unfortunately don't really show anything because like I just see the top of it, right? I'm like, okay, well, I know what it's supposed to look like. How do I figure it out? So I ended up playing around with some snot techniques and so I ended up making it work. But yeah,
Nice.
I mean, I think like you're never going to be able to, unless you have the instructions, you're never going to be able to replicate someone's exact design. You can just kind of take the ideas that you like and then
Yeah.
integrate it into your own, right? So
Mhm.
like the money tree was something that I built because growing up, I remember when I wanted to buy something, my dad would be like, does money grow on trees, right? and I'm like, well no. But when Lego came out with this set of the money tree, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that's perfect, right? And like my city, because my username is my2credits, and you spend all your money on Lego,
Yeah.
I called it Lost Credits. That's thanks to my wife. She
Lost
came up with the name, right?
funny.
Because she's like, well, you're losing a lot of credits on that. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I felt like a money tree in Lost Credits. It makes complete sense, right? So what I'll end up doing with this is I need to find a way to expand it and make it like a much bigger tree, so that it's almost
That's
like
cool.
if you've seen Game of Thrones, like almost like some of the trees in there, or like the Yggdrasil tree and like a lot of like fantasy novels, things like that. So
Mhm.
the idea is to make it really big and to have it at
Yeah.
like the center of a park
The
situation.
center, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So like we'll see. We're expanding, but like and experimenting too. But
Nice.
one of the things that they don't tell you when you start mocking or learning how to mock is that mocking is very, very expensive.
Yes.
Because it adds up very quickly, right?
Bricklink. Yeah.
Right. Bricklink for sure. My like first major foray into Bricklink was before episode 7 came out. The UCS Millennium Falcon was like non-existent. If you didn't have it
Yes.
already, it was going to cost you like $3,000 or $4,000 to get it.
5,000. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
right. And as someone that had not too recently returned to Lego, I was like, I love Lego, but I'm not spending that
Mhm.
much for a
For it,
set,
no.
right?
It's a lot of
Yeah.
trips.
So what do I do? Because I really want it. And thanks, Clever Pig. I appreciate the note on the road. I ended up creating an Excel sheet and I put out like the whole parts list. And then I went to Bricklink and I Bricklinked it together for like
Yeah.
1,200 or so, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So like it worked out, but like I got very fortunate with the stuff. And the only thing that isn't true to the old
Cost.
UCS Falcon is I
Mhm.
think there was one piece that was a printed piece, and I like went to
Okay.
eBay and I got
Oh,
some
yeah,
sticker
yeah.
for it, right?
Yeah.
But like no one would be able to tell unless they were looking like extremely closely, right? So to me, like that's my Falcon.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and while I'm happy that I got it, like 2 or 3 years later, or I built it 2 or 3 years later, the new one came
The
out. And I
new
was
one
like, oh,
came.
that's cool.
Oh no.
That's cool. Like I'm happy for the people that didn't get a chance. Like it's all good. It's not a big deal. I
Yeah.
ended up buying the other one too, anyways. That one,
Yeah.
I don't know when I'll put it out because I live in the Bay Area. You only have so much space in your home.
Yeah.
But eventually, like I'd love to put one in like a coffee table. Like I've seen some of those displays
Oh, I
and
know.
those look really, really
Same.
cool.
Same. Well, if anything,
yeah.
the one that you made from Bricklink, it's more meaningful, right? Because
It
you have
is,
to like
it is.
search every
There's
single
more
piece.
Yeah.
labor.
Really, right? So
Labor
yes,
of
it
love.
was cost effective that way, and yet you actually were one to one with each piece.
Yeah. No, to date, it is like the project that I am the most proud of.
Oh, awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
And like I was going through research at the time, like my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time, like we were building it together. Like it was a whole project for the two of us.
Mhm.
Yes.
So I do not regret spending that money at all because like
No,
it
it's
was all
great.
part of like my story, right? My journey. So
Absolutely.
It's harder too because the pieces aren't sorted
Yes.
like into bags, and there's
Yeah.
what 5,000 pieces.
Yes.
It's like a crazy.
I
amount.
can't even imagine how you organize that and laid it out and go.
I
Okay,
know
we
you
need
don't
this
have a
piece.
pool table to like lay out all your pieces.
But even so, right?
It was
Like
a challenge.
when you have all those pieces that's all open, like you don't have
Yeah.
individual bags. Like start with bag
hard.
one. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, what is my bag one?
So you
Yeah.
picked up the UCS Venator. Where is that in your like? Where are you displaying
Where-
that?
where will it
Hanging
go?
things like duck bricks.
Oh, you haven't built it yet.
I haven't built it yet. So we have been doing a lot of interior work on our home.
Okay.
One of our like objectives this year was to like repaint our whole interior. We bought this home. It's our first home
congrats.
Nice.
during the pandemic.
Best
Thank you.
Lego purchase.
I've seen
ever.
some of your painting posts.
Oh, very
Yeah. So we bought it, and originally we had only planned on being here for a couple of years. But when you look at the market and the interest rates, that couple of year plan now becomes it doesn't make sense
5.
to leave. Yeah.
Yeah.
It goes from like a 2 to 5 year plan to probably like a a 5 to 10 year plan, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's like we need to really start making this place completely our own, more than we already have, and make it like we plan on being here. So my wife hates beige. We wanted to repaint our interior. We had like an accent wall that we inherited, and it wasn't
What color was that? Super beige?
It was like a wood wall, like a wood accent wall. So
okay.
Nice, but it was done kind of shoddily, where you'd have like splinters and things like that, right? So we ended up taking that whole thing down, and we painted it like this dark green color recently.
Oh, nice.
That's been a long project that we like took on this month, or October rather. And like we'll now add like our own wood slats and maybe make it like a nature wall, and maybe you can expand it to putting like Lego botanicals or like pictures of our like various worlds and all that stuff. So like just adding more personality to the house and really making it like, this is like, you know,
yours.
Zane's home, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Zane and wife's home.
Yeah. Yeah. So
what's an accent wall?
So like when we had the clinic, it's like the red wall. Like, so it's something that's different and it's striking.
Just like a wall. You didn't knock down. I thought he knocked down a wall. You just painted a wall.
No, we didn't.
To make an accent.
So you had all these wood things that were on the wall that were stuck by adhesive.
Yeah.
So first you have to take off all the wood.
Oh my gosh.
Then you have to strip all the adhesive off because it's really glued on there. And then you have to refix all the drywall because stuff peels.
Yes.
So you're doing a lot of work to that wall, and
just to resurface it.
Yep. And then you sand it down, and then you prep it because we use the green paint.
Yeah.
You then need to prime it, and for me, again, it comes back to like I don't want to spend $5,000 to hire someone to do it when I know that like we are perfectly capable of doing it our own. It's just going to take longer, right?
I just painted my mom's condo.
Yeah.
Like she's like, oh, should I hire someone? I'm like, no. Yeah. I mean, if there's no rush, I'm more than happy to do this as a project. I listen to an audiobook and it's like my Zen moment, right? My kids are fed, they're happy, whatever. And then I'm like, oh, I'm just going to go to my mom's. It's my break. But it's like, I love it. Like,
yeah. I also feel like painting your first home is almost a rite of passage in a way, right? Like,
for sure.
Mine. Exactly, right?
So is it this room right now that you're in that?
Have you painted
that
it too?
You guys with the accent wall, or is
no? This is a different room. This is we have a couple of rooms in our house. We both have an office space, so this is my office space. Yeah, and what I ended up doing with this room is there was a bunch of stuff here before. There's like these shelves and stuff, and last year I'm like really big into like fantasy football, and I'm in a league where it's $1,000 buy-in, and I won the league.
Cool!
Wow!
So I took the winnings and I used that to remodel this space. So I took everything down, like demoed the shelves completely. And I was like, how do I make this into like a studio of sorts, or like just very different than what it looked like before, right? And like I use it to like buy different furniture. So like my desk, my chair, all these things that I wanted to upgrade to than what I had before.
Right.
There's still things that I need to add. Like I don't have any I don't really want like the Billy shelves that everyone has. I've thought about like maybe getting the PAX ones, but like there's stuff that I need to add off screen where I can actually have my display stuff. Because right now, anything that I have is just displayed throughout the house. So like downstairs, in the master, like all over the place. And I need to find a way to bring it in here before Sarah gets too upset.
These here are just IKEA wall shelves.
Yeah.
That I have.
Yeah.
So it's not. I don't have the Billy cases, and then I have the.
I seem to never run out of space. I don't know how magical these IKEAs are. I come in and I'm like, As long as they don't go upstairs.
Do you guys have all the modulars? It looks like you have a pretty like lengthy collection.
I don't have the first three. So I don't have Cafe Corner, Greengrocer, or Market Street.
Okay.
Because we started collecting
when our first son was 7 and he's turning 19 soon.
Wow.
We started collecting when the fourth one was out.
Yeah.
And so we just
kept going every year. So
I've never gotten anything retired.
What made you like get into them or like commit to collecting them?
So the first modular I got was actually the first Lego set we bought. I was kind of present.
So
and it was
he
Town
wasn't
Hall.
into Lego. It was me and our son, and we were the first series of Harry Potters came out, and I love Harry Potter, and I'm like, wow, what a great idea that Lego has collaborated.
I just
right?
thought it was like
Yeah.
And
toys.
I wanted to do
I wasn't
something
really
with
into
my
it.
son that's not kicking a ball or running around, or
Sure.
like what should be our downtime. And so he was in grade 2, and I'm like, oh, maybe we should start getting into Lego. And my son is a mocker. Like he's not
Oh.
so much into it anymore.
He doesn't
and
like
so-
following instructions. He
No.
just likes making his own things.
which
I
Our
love that.
eldest.
is indicative of his character. But I'm an instruction follower, right?
Okay.
So like
okay.
I always tell people, like one of the sets that I've done over and over again is the night bus,
Oh, okay.
because I would come home from work and it's demolished and he's done something with it, and I'm like just building it out of memory again, because I like that set, right? It's just a colorful kind of standalone set. But we got into it, and then one day Nick's like, oh, let me go with you guys to the Lego store. I'm like, oh, okay, like this is a thing with me and Tristan. And so he goes and he's like, whoa, what are these?
So the first thing I noticed,
and I'm
actually,
like, oh no, what did we
the first
show
sets I
you?
noticed were the architecture sets.
Yeah.
And that's what gravitated to me, because I was like, oh, they're actually real buildings
Yeah.
made out of Lego. It doesn't look like a toy. It looks like an actual model. And so the White House, like the smaller, not the bigger White House, but the smaller White House was the first one I was looking at. And then Tristan was carrying the town hall. And he's like, can we get this? And then
You're
Maria's like, yeah, sure. Thinking it'll be like
okay.
a long project.
a one-time thing, right?
Yeah.
And so we brought it home. Tristan and I were working on it. At that time, I was actually organizing the pieces because I didn't know that you can just like open a bag. And so Tristan and I finished the first floor, and then he went to bed. And then I was like, oh, maybe I'll
And then
do
he
another
did the
another
whole
page.
thing.
And then he woke up the next morning and it was done. And I was like, oh, I was,
yeah.
And
Wait to
then
get a
I think
child's
a
place.
couple days later, I went back to the Lego store and I bought the architecture.
It was a slippery slope, let me tell
The
you.
architecture White House by myself. And then after that, when I finished that, then I started wanted to get all the architecture sets. And so it was the whole architecture sets line that I got.
Yeah.
And then
And
Maria,
sometimes we'll like make it like when we go on a trip, like we went to New York and we found, for example, Frank Lloyd Wright's
The
Falling
Falling
Water,
Water,
right? Like that one was
and-
like it was so hard to find here in Toronto, and then suddenly we're like, oh, look, it's here. So then we are like, this is a souvenir from this trip, if any, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
you try to.
and then, but you were saying about the modulars. I guess at that time, 4 modulars were out.
Yeah.
It was Town Hall, Grand Emporium, Pet Shop, and Fire Brigade.
Yeah.
And so we liked the Town Hall. And so we just ended up, I think Maria drove to Detroit and she picked up Fire Brigade and
Not on purpose to pick up Fire Brigade.
and Pet Shop.
Yeah.
And
But
then
the
we
sales
just got,
tax were lower.
it was
right, in
cheaper.
Detroit. Yeah.
Right.
and then we just got
Yeah.
a Grand Emporium. And then I think
Mhm.
the following I think they came out in March. The
Mhm.
following March, a Parisian Restaurant came out. And so we picked that up. And then after that, each year we just got the
Yeah.
next one.
But this really, like where we're at right now, is a collection of 12 years, right? And
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that we're completists, but at one point it's like, oh, what else? And like they collaborate with Marvel. We love Marvel. They collaborate with like Star Wars. We're like, oh my god, like but at the end of the day, it's like, oh, we have to work. We have to feed kids. Like we gotta. Where's the balancing act here, right? And
Will you?
but it is, our kids love it, and unfortunately, it's too normal to them that it's not like, oh, I'm so excited that we have all this Lego. Like they kind of build still, and then
They're kind of over it.
on his channel a while ago, they would help him review it or
When they were little.
give their 2 cents.
But
Right?
now
if
they're
you
like,
call it.
I don't want to be on your video.
Now they look at the video like, what? Why were we in the video? It's like-
So our youngest, who was like a baby at that time, now he's in my videos, but
Yeah.
he's 9 now. So in
Yeah.
a few years, he's not going to want to be in it.
yeah. So part of it is we just try to, play with our kids as much as we can.
Yeah.
We make the content because our kids, it's something fun for our kids at this
Yeah.
point. And
What were
it's
you were going to say something?
Well, I was gonna ask you, do you ever plan on going back and getting the ones that you don't have? Or do you think no?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Just
Okay.
for the price.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense too, right? Like
Sure.
at the end of the day, it's like we know when the next ones are going to come out, and
Yeah.
that's like a digestible price for us. But then it gets a little bit overblown just because it's, I don't know, vintage.
I'm not a completist in terms of I have to have it.
Yeah.
I'm in the completist if it's convenient to get, then
Sure.
I'll get it.
and
if
the
it's
price is
accessible,
okay, right?
yeah.
like it's
Like there was at one point when I was trying to collect all the Lego idea set because I had them
Mhm.
all except for the very first one, which was like a submarine. But then the lighthouse came out. I'm like,
I already have
I
a
really want
lighthouse,
that
right?
one.
Like
and then I think that was the one where like you didn't get that, and then afterwards you don't need to get them
You
all
phase
because
out.
you already missed out on
Yeah.
one.
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
I do have a big chunk of the idea sets that I
It's also like when I look at some of the older modulars, like obviously, yes, they paved the way for everything else, but they're also like a little
Not as-
dated in how they look, right? And
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
like you
yes.
can tell that
there's
it's
no interior too.
Yes.
yeah, and so it's like, is it really worth what it's going
Mhm.
for? Like, I don't think so, you know.
Exactly.
So you know, and I think that money could probably be better spent. Like if you've learned how to mock, that money could
Mhm.
probably be spent better to create whatever it is that you want, right?
Right. And also a long time ago, like when we were first getting into it, like I really enjoyed the minifigures. Like I
Right.
was just enthralled that there's all these little characters.
You really like the
and
licensed
yes,
minifigures,
and
the
you know,
Marvel
like you can
ones.
see personalities come out of these little
Right.
minifigures. And
Right.
then when Instagram started, again, this was around the same time,
Yeah.
people who were into the Lego community, they really personalized their selves as minifigures.
Oh, sig figs.
So or sig figs, right? So like myself, I've always been the brick Zapper. Yeah, exactly. Right?
Yeah,
And
no,
I feel
I totally get it.
You're a
and-
tennis player because you have a tennis
yeah,
racket.
Wimbledon, he goes there.
Oh,
I
right.
am not a tennis player, but it is
A passion,
A fandom.
to watch.
it has become my favorite sport. I would say that
Oh.
I probably started watching tennis at this point 6-7 years ago.
Okay.
Okay. Who's your
Um,
favorite player then?
Ooh, this is a
Or is that a tough question?
okay. Top 5.
It's really tough because I don't feel like I can lay claim to like some of the greats because I came so later in their career. Like
As in
much
like
as
Sampras and Agassi are like too old for you.
those for sure, but even like
Mhm.
Federer and Nadal and Djokovic, like I would say I came so late in their careers.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh.
I thought they were
Federer and Nadal were pretty much at their like tail end
Yeah,
by the time I came.
yeah.
I feel old now because I was like Michael Chang,
I know.
Andre Agassi, Stefan
Yeah.
I watched
Edberg,
all of these guys.
For
Ivan
sure, yeah.
Lendl.
Yeah.
I was like watching all those guys.
Yeah, I mean, by the time I got into tennis, like Lendl was coaching, right?
Yeah.
So,
We feel old now.
yeah. We
but
are.
like I think that like I don't think that aging is like a negative, right? Like that's part of your life, and like that's going to happen no matter what. Like I think of like kids that are going to grow up and will have never watched so many of the athletes that like I grew up watching, right? And they
I
were like
know,
Yes. for
mainstream
sure.
pop culture reference at the time. So
For sure.
for me, I would say I am a Djokovic fan. I'm a pretty big Carlos Alcaraz fan. I tend
He's
to
good.
watch the younger players and like I'll scout them out before they become big. So like last year, Elena Rybakina won Wimbledon, and I had 100-1 ticket on her to win
Oh,
Wimbledon
wow.
because I watched her for a couple of
What?
years already, and I thought that the odds
Yeah.
were like priced very wrong.
You're good at this.
What about Coco? Are you a Coco fan?
I do like Coco a lot, but I don't bet on Coco because she's overpriced in the market. And so what that means
No.
is
Mm.
she's a very
She's too favored.
popular. Yeah, she's too
Mhm,
favored,
mhm.
right? And so you're not going to get an under the radar
your
kind of
return
price
back.
on someone like her. Yeah. And
Yes.
like betting is all
Wait, so-
percentages.
Do you only like tennis because you like betting on tennis, or do you like?
I got into
Yeah.
I got into tennis because I love the sport. To me, tennis is one of the very few pure sports that's left, right?
Mm.
It's not
An individual.
yeah, it is as close to, you know, when that meme was going around, or I don't know if it still is, but when it was like, how often does your man think of the Roman Empire? Have you
No, I
heard of
don't
this
know that.
meme?
No.
There was this meme going on TikTok about like, how often does so and so think of like asking a man, how often do you think of the Roman Empire?
Yeah.
And
Okay.
I'm like, well, for me, the answer is like every day if you really want to boil down to it, because I love tennis so much and I'm watching it all the time. And to me, I look at tennis as modern day gladiator, right? Because it's two
Oh.
people in
Yeah.
a ring and everyone's watching and you're not fighting to the
Yeah.
death, but you are still battling each other, right? It's
That's
your
right.
minds and it's your
That's a good
athleticism and all that stuff.
analogy.
So it's the same exact thing. And so for me, I like it because there's really no other outside influence except for the
Mhm.
players that are on there, right? There's really not any like outside influence from like referees. Like, you know, if you watch NFL or NBA or the
Yeah.
EPL, like you can have bad calls happen. And in tennis, that really isn't even the case anymore, right? So because you have eliminated like line calls, you have Hawkeye, you
right.
have all these things. So to me, it's like it's a pure sport. I agree. UFC is modern day gladiator. Yes, to the definition, to the letter of the law. Yes. But in terms of like watching the concept of like a non-bloody version, right, or like the white collar gladiator, if you will, right, like that's tennis, right? So
these are knights with their tennis rackets.
Yes.
So to me, like that's how I really got into the sport, and I love kind of going to tournaments.
Do you play at all recreationally? I
started playing in 2018 or so, 2019. And tennis in a way probably like saved my life, sort of, because what I ended up finding out while I was learning how to play was my vision was really messed up, and I was seeing like double from like the tennis ball, like, so I couldn't tell where the ball was.
Interesting.
And what had happened was I needed to get eye surgery, which
like retina?
It's called, I forget what the
like a detached retina?
But basically, no, I had like, there was a muscle that had significantly weakened to the point where I was seeing double vertically. And I forget what the situation is called, but I had to like get surgery and all that stuff.
Wow.
And it's one of those things where like mentally you're freaking out because you're like, well, there's something wrong with my brain. Like, I don't know what's going on. And it doesn't help when like you go to a doctor and they're like, I've never seen this before. I'm like, what do you mean you're the doctor, man? Like, what are you talking about? So the alarm bell's going off.
Oh my god.
Like,
you're like, come here, check this out. All these doctors huddle around.
Had I never gone to tennis and had I never like figured out, I wouldn't know what that is. And then who knows how bad that gets, right? Like, I said, I don't know, right? So yeah, I'm always gonna be thankful to tennis. We have a court near us and we go down there and play. And so I wouldn't say that I'm good. I'm still learning. But it's a good activity, and like
it's a great workout.
If for sure. And if I were to lay claim to any sport that I love, like unquestionably, like it's tennis.
Oh, nice.
Well, you have a good frame, 6'2", long, lanky arms for the serve and everything.
Yeah.
It was at one point when I was actually a good like few years when during the summer I'd have like just with my friends, I'd have a match in the morning, a match in lunchtime, and a match in the evening every single day.
This was when we were
by the end of the summer. I was like so dark because
it's university, and I played tennis when I was little with my dad, right? But he never got into tennis. He was an athlete in other ways, and somehow, like Lego, you kind of fall deep into an interest. It's the same with tennis for Nick here. And he would have like different friends. He'd call up, hey, who's awake right now? Great, I'll play with you, like 8 to 10, and then he'll go home or do whatever, go to work, and then again, like, who can play in the afternoon? I'm like, hello, where are you? Like, and he's like, remember, we're playing. And then he'll tell me, remember, we'll play later. I'm like, all right, I'm slotted in too.
I love that though. Like that's it's one of those things where like if you don't use your body, you lose it, right? You want to stay active, and especially as like for sure when you're young. But especially as you get older, like you need to stay active. You need to do these things.
Definitely. You're given this one body, you got to keep it healthy.
Yeah.
And it's hard with Lego if you're just sitting down and building.
And you're this close to your
And that is why I have a standing desk.
Yes. You need the balance. You need the balance of everything.
Right.
You need to go to the next one. See how fast this hour has gone?
Before we... Hey,
Cody!
Hey, Cody.
Awesome. Thank you.
Sir, thank you.
Love it.
Before we go into the next, I just wanted to touch on something I saw on Instagram, where I saw you with Zach and Wayne from Lego Masters, the Asian brothers.
That's so cool.
Bricks and minifigs.
I love that.
Can you tell me? Can you talk about that story?
So there was a new Bricks and Minifigs that opened up in San Ramon. It's 20-ish minutes from where. Really? Oh wow.
No. Yeah, we don't have them. What state would be the closest? Like
well,
Chicago?
Even Chicago has one.
We didn't get a chance to go there.
Okay.
I have to try one. Okay.
I've never been either.
So from my understanding, I think that there's some sort of partnership between Lego Masters and Bricks and Minifigs. I don't know what the extent of that looks like, but as I've seen at various Bricks and Minifigs, like for a lot of grand openings, someone from Lego Masters usually ends up there. And so for grand opening at the store, Zach and Wayne were there. So that's when I met them and got a chance to chat with them and hang out with them. And they were as amazing of people as you can possibly meet. I will say that like everything that you see from Wayne on TV is accurate. Like he is a walking soundbite. Like there's always something that he's going to say that you're going to be like, oh my God, this guy is like, he's not kidding. Like it's not an act. Like that's who Wayne is.
Yeah,
You know? But they were just really, really nice people. Zach's mind is like incredible. Like the way that he thinks and the way that he pieces things together, it's fascinating to me.
Their mocks are so technic. It's crazy.
Yeah. And because I've now been at this Bricks and Minifigs a few times now, I've got to like meet the owner and hang out with him and get to know him and stuff. And so Zach and Wayne have been doing a class at that Bricks and Minifigs where they're teaching mostly like young kids, right? K-Falls, I believe is the term, how to build with Technic, because Technic is a very like, it can be very intimidating, right? And there's even adults that like want nothing to do with Technic because they're like, what is this stuff? How does it work? Whereas like Zach and Wayne, they know the ins and outs. So I actually went to that class and like I filmed it for the Bricks and Minifigs and put it on my channel. And it was literally just like Zach and Wayne teaching these kids how to build this thing. And it's like, I think they call it motion mechanics, like motion mechanics 101. It's basically, it's like it's the basics of Technic and how does it work and all that stuff. So incredibly nice people. Was so fun to meet them. And they don't live too far from me. Hopefully I'll get to see them again sometime.
Oh, very
That's
cool.
awesome.
Yeah. I know. I love that that episode when they had that featured, when they created that. I was mind blown by that.
All their creations were
all
crazy.
They're so creative, so talented.
So we'll go into our next segment, which is
Share Your Stories, Share Your Stories, Share Your Stories, Weekly Recap.
It sounded like we've already been sharing our stories, but stories that we have of our lives. And
so last weekend, Maria was telling us, well, on the show, that she was getting ready for a race, a running race.
So you said we have to take care of our bodies. We have always ran, but it's been a while since I've run a race. We used to do half marathons and marathons. And though it's easy to fall off the wagon, call it, right? It's like for me, it's like if I can do a 5K, a 10K here a day, okay, great. I've accomplished something, but it's just a different whole commitment when you're training your body to run a race, because it's always a different atmosphere and everything. But I'm like, okay, I need to get back, because all of my previous race shirts, they're dated. Like literally, right? Like I love the one from, we did one before from Disney. It was already 2011. Like it's a million years ago. And I mean, thankfully I, still fit in it, and it's, favorite shirts.
We're a million
races.
pounds heavier.
Right. Exactly. Right. But I'm like, maybe I need to get back into it. And I had a couple of friends who I work with, and when I was deep into running, they're like, oh my gosh, I don't know how you do it. And then they recently just did their full marathon. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know how you do it, because ultimately it's time and commitment. And, with again, having boys, it's been that much more difficult to carve time, right? As we are going to their committed activities. Like our youngest is heavily into basketball. So it's, so I'm like, nope, I'm going to do this. I'm going to sign up. And a good friend of mine.
But it was only a 3K race.
Yes. I thought maybe I'll do a quick little taste again, just to get a shirt. And like flights, I'm like, oh my God, I'm so like, it's been quite a minute that I've signed up for a race. How did races get so expensive?
Wait, so even the 3K was expensive?
The 3K was still about $50.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
That used to be the price.
Because they give you a shirt and they give you like a medal sometimes too.
Yes, you have a finisher medal.
She'll show that during show and tell.
Oh, I guess so. I'm being held.
You could just talk about it.
Exactly. So this one was a thematic one, and it's in the East Beaches of Toronto. It's a little bit after the downtown region, and it was called Day of the Dead. So it's the weekend before November 1st, which we know in Mexican culture, they celebrate it. And it's like the second year only that this particular race is in effect. And a couple of weeks ago, I went with my friend because we wanted to go see the expo for the Toronto waterfront. And expos are always like a joyous, I don't know, like it's always a nice gathering of people who are on their way to get their race packets. And when we were there, and her and I used to run like a ton of races, we're like, oh, we miss this atmosphere. But we were there just to really find cheap shoes. You know what I mean? It's like, it's all the people who like give us clearance. And so, people are like, oh, are you guys running the race? We're like, no.
Here,
and then we're like,
for the swag.
maybe, we're just here for swag, or, oh, look, a free cowbell, or, oh, stickers, but really, well, I did get a pair of shoes, but I'm like, okay, maybe we need to commit and like buy into a race. And so this particular race was kind of a good theme, right? A Day of the Dead, a Remembrance Day of our.
Did people
Yeah.
dress up?
Yeah,
when
they
were-
did.
Like
And-
with
Yes, absolutely.
face paint
Yes,
and-
like if you remember Disney's Coco, where they have the skeleton the sugar masks, right?
Oh,
So a lot of
okay.
people were also dressed in that manner,
That's fun.
or even like a full body costume.
Did you
where
guys
have
dress
the
up?
skeleton? No.
You just wore race.
We wanted to go
red
for the
shirts.
churros. Okay, so of course they have all these amazing Mexican feast after.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah,
So what
see?
did they
And
feed
he
you
used to go
guys?
race. He would be like, So wait, well, instead of doing the 9K, the 9K was maybe $20 more, but we're like, maybe we're not
Wait,
there.
so the
yet.
3K gets the same food
Yeah,
as the 9K?
absolutely.
The
So
9Ks don't get
if
anything
anything,
special?
if I can run that 3K in a heartbeat, I am on my
you guys
second
get
churro by
to
the
the
time the
buffet,
first.
buffet table
That's
quicker.
right. It's all strategy, you know. We're seasoned veterans when it comes to races. We're like 3K, 9K. Nope, I see what they're making. The tamales. I got my sights on all these places. But again, like these race events are so fun, right? They bring the community in. Everybody's excited to move their bodies, like I said, and they always have like a 1K children's race, and all the kids were dressed in Halloween costumes. So
That's
it was
cute.
super
That's cool.
adorable.
Yeah.
And the day was perfect. Like it was like a really perfect fall running.
Have you ever
weather.
done anything like that? A race or anything, Zane?
Yeah. I haven't done a race in a long time.
Time to do it again? Let's lean in.
So for me, I feel like my running will be limited to tennis because I don't want to burn out my knees. Right?
Yeah.
I've had knee surgery before, and like I
Okay.
don't want to do that
Although
again.
tennis is tough on the knees. My dad's always like, keep your knees bent, right?
It can be, yes, but it's not the same as like the amount of running that I'm doing
Mhm,
training
it's
for like a half
compounding.
marathon, right?
Yes.
Because like I've done 2 half marathons. I will never do a marathon because that's just too much training.
Yeah, it is a lot of training.
And like so I've done like 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathon. From like a story perspective, the funniest racing story that I have is a few years ago. Used to have the Nike half women's marathon.
Oh yes,
Okay.
I ran that here in Toronto.
Yeah, and so it's no longer here, but
Yeah.
one of my mentors, like, she ran it, and she like again, she doesn't run anymore for knees, getting older and stuff.
Yeah.
So I've done 2 Nike halves, and when you do the Nike
Awesome.
half, they give you the necklace. So
Mhm.
I've done 2 of them. The first one, the necklace I gave to her because, again, my mentor, right?
Nice.
The second one I gave to my mom, and the funniest story is like classic Asian mom, like tiger mom, that kind of stuff, right? And so like for her, she doesn't understand the concept. So when I gave her this necklace and I'm like, oh, I ran this race and I got it, and she's like, oh, is this like your prize for like winning the race? And I'm like, no, I didn't win the race. And
But
she's
they
like,
give it.
yeah,
It's your gold medal.
yeah, and so she's like,
Why did you get this?
so like, no, she's like, so what place did you get in? Like,
Oh.
like, and I'm like,
Yeah.
no, I didn't win the race, and just keep going back and forth. I'm like, you know what? Yes, I won the race. Here you go. This is
Take
for
it.
you. Yeah. And it's just like, it's such like an Asian parent thing where it's
Yeah.
like they make everything so competitive, and it's like,
Yes.
no.
There has to be a
Literally, I got
standing
this
value.
because I participated in the
finished.
race.
Yes.
Here you go. I'm giving it to you because you're my
Yes.
mom, and like, what am I gonna
And-
do with this?
And
That's
those
funny.
necklaces were nice. Like for us,
Yeah.
it was Tiffany who sponsored
Yeah,
it.
Tiffany
Right? Tiff-
sponsored. Yeah. People
So-
run the race for the necklace, right?
Yes.
And so,
yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's definitely sad that they no longer have it here because it is a gorgeous like course the way they have it set up through
Oh, I
SF.
haven't. Yeah, we used to travel to race too. Like we would do like a
Yeah.
long weekend and go to different cities in the
They're
US.
called the Rock and Roll Marathon.
Rock and Roll
Series.
Oh,
Marathon.
okay.
But we haven't done a race in California. And California has beautiful routes.
Mhm.
We just haven't made it that end. We have too many relatives there, so it's hard to like do a long weekend and for them to go, "What? You didn't come visit us?" Like it's just a mine that we don't want to touch. So
Mhm.
we can't just do a race. But one day, hopefully, again, right? But it is I don't know. I enjoy race experience. But you're right, my knees are crunchy here now. Like when I do a squat and I have friends who are like, was that from you? I'm like, oh, you mean yours don't crunch like that? They're like, we don't think you should be doing squats. I'm like, oh, I don't know what to like lubricate it with. I'm like the Tin Man now from The Wizard of Oz.
I feel like I understand when people gravitate towards like trail running as they get older
Yeah.
because it's so much softer on your knees.
Yes.
And the whole like the whole concept of like, oh, I know when it's going to rain because like I've had surgery on my knee. Like, yeah, that's true. Because like I do know when it's going to rain. I'm like, oh, my knee feels a little achy today.
Yes.
It's probably
That's
gonna
funny.
rain. I look at the weather and
Wow.
I'll be like, oh, yep, it's gonna rain. So apparently it's true. I never believed it, but I do now. So
Yeah. And I mean, like winter is approaching, so I'm trying to grab as many outdoor run I can while the
Mhm.
weather is still,
Right.
you
This is
know,
perfect right now.
it's really perfect.
Fall.
I love fall
here.
running.
I don't know about fall in
Where-
California.
Where in Canada are you guys?
Toronto.
Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah, you were just
So,
outside
like,
Toronto. Yeah.
I applaud you guys because I could never live in Canada. It gets so cold where you
It
guys
gets
are.
colder in other places, we know, but
For
Have
sure,
you
yeah.
always been in California in the hot weather?
No. I think I've lived in several places, but California makes you very, very soft. Like very, very soft. And I mean specifically the Bay Area, because like I went to school in Central California
Okay.
where the summers are like, 110, and you're getting
Mhm.
really
Wow.
you're getting really, broiled there, right?
Yeah.
And then you'll move to San Francisco or you'll move to the Bay Area, and then it's like, oh, like, 90s is considered hot out here.
Okay.
But like for me, I love the heat, If you gave me 90 or like 32, 34 degrees every day, like
Yes.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It's when you get into like the negative Celsius or even like the zero where
Minus
I'm
21.
like, yeah,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
minus 21, I'm good.
Yeah.
No,
Minus
thank
20,
you. Yeah.
it is painful. It is
Yeah.
I think for here, like anything,
Yeah.
whenever it's minus 30, then I wouldn't go running. Or if it was
But he
plus 30, I wouldn't go running.
when he was
In
hardcore
between.
into racing, he'd like have a shovel sometimes running. Like
I've done
just to like clear
done
snow.
No,
I've done 13
I'm out.
marathon. I've done
I'm
13 marathons, like
Yeah.
I don't know, 30 or 40 half marathons, like so many half
Any weather we used to do. But that's the thing,
like
right?
you know, with being obsessed with something, like I said tennis earlier, it was
Yeah.
my running stint.
we have
Right.
obsessive
Lego right now. There's like,
moments.
even before that there was like different obsessions I've had.
Yeah. but,
Pokemon
like,
Go.
So like Clever Pig mentioned like minus 40 plus 40, right? Like, so like
Yeah,
I'm okay with
Calgary.
the Celsius thing. Like that's all good. Like high 30s Celsius, like I'm good. Like that's not gonna bother me. It's
Yeah.
the negatives that my body is like, no,
yeah.
can't do it
Yeah,
anymore, right?
yeah.
And it's crazy to me because like I think of my first solo trip that I ever did was in the dead of winter. I went to Iceland for New Year's.
Oh.
And that was in
Oh.
like
Of course.
2016, 2017.
Yeah.
And I look at like my body now and it's like 6 years later. I'm like, I
Oh, I
can't have
can't.
that. Like that idea sounds terrible to me. Like,
Yeah,
what
yeah,
was
yeah.
I thinking? You
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
But I thought Iceland was green and Greenland was icy.
But January would be cold.
Iceland is like two very different countries depending on when you go. If you go in the summer,
okay.
it's like
Mhm.
you are getting like 23, 22 hours of
Yeah.
daylight, like super green, gorgeous. And if you go into the winter, it's still gorgeous. Like it's a winter
Yeah.
wonderland is the difference, right? You've got snow all over the place, right? And so I loved Iceland. It's just I don't know how I could do the cold like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we are layered, and this is why I love fall. It's like back to like sweater weather,
Yeah,
cozy
yeah.
pumpkin spice lattes. You know what I mean?
Right,
It's like
right.
time to like re-insulate the body for
Right.
And so when our Thanksgiving's rolled around already, we're like getting ready for Christmas feasting, like
Yeah.
you know. But yeah, no, I do like running spring and at fall. It's you warm up during the run, right?
Mhm,
Versus running in the summer. It's like there's only so much you can not run with. Essentially, yeah.
Have you done any obstacle course races?
Like there was the Spartan races that
Okay.
got really popular at one point.
I never
Yeah.
did them.
And
The mud,
I've done a
mud runs
zombie
or-
race where
yeah, she did zombie
I was a
race.
chasing zombie when I was pregnant.
Oh,
So,
no way.
I've done all sorts of
So the zombie
thematic.
race, you can sign up as like a zombie that's stuck and you can only wave your arms around.
Yeah,
Or you can
Or
sign up
chaser.
as a zombie that chases the runners around.
and I chased.
Oh,
and
wow.
if you catch them,
Yeah.
I forgot what happens if you
Well,
catch
it's almost like flag football, right?
them. Okay.
But yeah, I was pregnant for that one too. So
That's
I
cool.
was,
That sounds
like,
fun.
Crazy.
We did a race. It was called the Valentine's Day
Oh gosh,
race,
this was torture.
where
for
we
me.
had to be tied together and then you run
And
So
he's so
basically,
much faster
I'm like
than
pulling
me.
her across the
And I'm
finish
like,
line.
this is so painful.
I'm like,
Love
we have
is
to beat that
painful.
old couple.
I
There's
know.
an
Oh my
old
God.
couple
Oh my God.
ahead. We gotta
But
beat
yeah,
them.
and this was earlier on in our running sort of together career, right?
Uh-huh.
Whatever.
Uh-huh.
And it is amazing how fast people are because they've just been doing it for a long time. They're just conditioned for it. So yeah, there was this older couple to our, being 20s then, and we're like, and he's like, yeah, we gotta beat them. I'm like, oh my God, I don't think I can puff as
I'm like
They
dragging
beat
her
us.
across the finish line.
and yeah, like anything, you're humbled really by what people can do, right? And this is it. Like I said, you have one body, we got to keep it as healthy, but you got to enjoy what you do.
So Zane, how about you? Anything this week or last weekend that happened?
Oh, story wise, man, I feel like I shared a lot in the first segment,
Yeah.
but
Well,
I mean,
he
mainly,
painted, maybe.
mainly. Yeah, I was gonna tell the story of like the whole ordeal with painting the house and stuff, and like taking all the wall. Like, I think until like we got into it, we didn't realize how much it would be. But at the end of the day,
Yeah.
like in terms of like time invested, right? But at the end of the day, like once you commit to something, you gotta see it through. And
For sure.
I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm really excited for kind of what we have planned for it. I think I posted a few like photos of it to
Cool.
like my Instagram story to show off, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's starting to come together. And like we have to wait a little bit for everything to kind of like consolidate before we start putting things back up. Because we put them on command strips or like put holes in the wall and stuff. We have like a world map of like the places that we've been to, and I want to put that up again.
That's cool.
And so we have like art. When we travel, we just travel with our backpacks. Like we don't take like luggage or anything. It's literally just our. Yeah, it's like the 40-liter backpack that you have, right? Like that's basically my backpack for the 2 weeks that I'm gone or the 3 weeks that I'm gone, and whatever I've put in there. So when I come back, I'm very limited on what I can bring back. So I have to be very selective with. I can't just buy every souvenir that I want, right?
Yeah,
and that's part of that is tactical, but part of it is I just like
sure.
the freedom of just being with my backpack. I'm like, that's all I need. I don't need, all these shoes or all these like clothes to switch out of.
Right.
Fine, right? And I've had that mindset for a long time, like very minimalist in that sense. Like
Mm-hmm.
Lego is a very maximalist activity.
Yeah.
Right? But from the travel aspect, I try to keep that as minimal as I can. So when we do travel with my backpack, I will always try to buy like a piece of artwork from some place that I went to.
Oh, nice.
And
okay.
So we have the world map, which like you put pins into like where you've
Cool.
been.
I love that.
And then we have our artwork like around it of like here are the places that we've been to, right?
Nice. Yeah.
And so like I'm waiting for like the walls to finish up so that we can put those back up.
Yeah.
So
I guess our Starbucks mugs about places we've been to, that's more maximalist.
I guess so, a little bit, yeah.
But it's still cool, right? Like that's your journey, and that's where you're getting your enjoyment from, and like that's great. I don't.
The cool ones are. Have you seen the Star Wars ones? They have Star Wars ones. That
I have.
We started picking those up when we went to, I guess, Florida.
Yeah, I saw the Mustafar one this year, and I thought that looked really cool, but I didn't get it.
Yeah.
So our youngest is into basketball, and so this week
Nick's last hope.
This week too, Maria ordered him new uniforms.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so I went to pick them up, and Maria's like, "Oh yeah, I ordered him the large, the youth large." So I get there, and he shows me the youth large. I'm like, I think he needs the extra large.
We have panda jeans. We're Asian, but
So I got him the extra large, and then Maria puts it on him, and Maria's like, Nick, it just fits. It just fits him. But it's one of those things where it's snug on top and it's long on the bottom. So I don't know if these are like basketball uniforms for tall, lanky kids, not short and stout.
Our older boys also played for the same league, so we have their what I would consider now the vintage of that league's uniform. So that's what he had been wearing, but then they just came out with these new uniforms. And I feel like, okay, let's have him match the other kids. Like they don't really pressure you to get it, but
they're nice. They have like the white lining,
a nice trim and everything. Yes,
but I think they're like form fitting or like
maybe it's a different look. You know how in the 90s the shorts were like longer,
the short shorts.
They got short, yeah, exactly.
Short shorts are back. Like you can see, people are like
they have all sorts of uniforms now. It's all over the place, man.
Well, they also wear like the long leggings.
The long leggings, exactly.
Yeah, the compression leggings. Yeah.
The compression leggings. Yeah. So,
but lately too, he's been getting into volleyball.
Oh, okay.
And so we try not to have our kids bring toys to school. We're like, you're gonna lose it. If someone takes it from you, like, I don't know, right? Like, just keep things at home. But if it comes to like things like a basketball or a tennis ball, I'm like, sure, bring those, right? But out of nowhere, he's like, Mom, we're all playing volleyball now. I'm like, of all the balls we don't have, we have like
Who plays volleyball at recess?
plays volleyball
They
at
play
recess,
soccer.
right?
You
Like,
don't
I
play
realize
soccer
it's
in
volleyball
recess?
season, I suppose. But yeah, soccer ball, boom, in on the
But
field.
it's not a net. He says
Basketball,
there's like
they
some
volley.
there's like a square on the
Yes.
floor, and they play a game with the
Yes.
volleyball.
And then his sell to me is, next year I'm going to try it for the junior team. I'm like, really? Like, where's this coming from? But he does have like older grade friends, right? So they're probably telling him about it.
Volleyball's cool.
So I go, and I didn't realize volleyball. I don't know. I don't buy the sports equipment in our house. I buy from Costco. The last tennis balls I got were like a huge 60 box
So
from
huge pack.
Costco.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's always in the trunk of my car. But I'm like, volleyball, where do I go? So I go to a sports store, and the one volleyball they had was like $70. I'm like, no, we're
Really?
not professionals. Let's
That
go.
much?
And then I go to Walmart. I'm like, okay, yeah, Walmart has
Yeah,
a sports
Walmart.
section, right? I should have started there first. And they were sold out.
$25, no?
They were sold out. And so I go to a Canadian Tire, which is probably in between both, but they're like also a hardware store, but with a sports area with bicycles and stuff like that, outdoor equipment, hockey stuff. And I found a volleyball, and I'm like, okay, $29. This will have to
Yeah,
do.
that's not bad. 29.
Yeah.
And then today, Nick gets him from the bus, and what happens?
Yeah, so he's like,
He
He's
takes
like-
it for 2 days to school.
Dad, it's all good. It's all good.
All good.
But
This
but
kid negotiates like crazy. You have
Yeah.
it's
the
all
third
good.
boy.
But I lost my volleyball. He's like, my friend Elijah hit the volleyball. It went over the fence.
This
but-
is how kids are expensive, by the way. Not the feeding or the housing or the schooling them.
He said,
It's the losing.
it
the
went
things.
it went over the fence, but it's all good because the teacher said that she's gonna go get it after school and I can pick it up Monday, so it's all good. He just kept saying it's all good. I'm like, okay, it's not good, but we'll see it. We'll see if you can get your ball back on Monday.
And
but-
then the text I get from Nick, we have a volleyball.
I didn't even know she had a volleyball.
I'm like, yeah, we have a volleyball.
But-
So we'll see. I mean, I don't want to be the weirdo who, I was gonna ask him tomorrow afternoon, hey, let's go find the backyard that you guys tossed the ball in, and then maybe we can ring their doorbell. But I don't want to be that stranger if the teacher said that they're gonna get it. We'll see on Monday. But yeah, that's a highlight of our week.
Oh,
basically.
Halloween. How did
Oh
Halloween go?
yeah, Halloween. I only have one guy who trick or treats. Our two older guys are too cool now, and they have their own Halloween
Maria
parties.
took him this time because he went
Yeah.
with like a friend to like a different neighborhood,
Yeah,
not our regular neighborhood
Yeah.
that we should
So he
go.
had fun. He was Naruto. Again, the kind of indulgences we give our kids. We have a bin full of previous Halloween costumes that they play with. And this kid was so into Darth Vader when he was little. He was
Yeah.
Darth Vader every single year for so long. And out of nowhere, he's like, I want to be Naruto. I'm like,
Because
he's
he
not black.
he watches it
Like-
with his with
his friends.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
So in any case, him and his friend were paired because the friend was also a character from the
was he?
same
I didn't
series.
know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they had one guy from One Piece. Which
Did you
is
take a
not the same.
picture with
I
them
did.
together?
I
Okay.
did. They were
Yeah,
very
so-
cute. And like for us, it's like he's our last guy. We want to just enjoy his childhood as much as we can because it
Yeah.
goes so quickly, right? Like
Did
the
you
other
guys give
two-
out candy this year or anything?
We've been here a few years now, and we don't really get any trick or treaters here at all.
Oh,
Like,
perfect.
there's no one that comes through.
That's like our
Um,
house.
Yeah.
So when the first year we were here, we bought candy just in case, and we didn't know how it would go because the first year we were here, it was the pandemic. So
Yeah,
understandably,
right.
like no one really came through then.
Yeah.
And then the next year we're like, oh, maybe we'll get some this year, and again nothing. So we're like, okay,
Oh,
we're just
yeah.
not gonna get trick or treaters here. It's fine. It's all
Just turn
good.
your lights off. Yeah.
Exactly. Eat the candy,
Um,
enjoy it.
So it's one of those things where if it works for people, great, and if not, it's all
Yeah,
good,
yeah. Yeah.
All right, we're gonna go into our next segment, which is
It's time for show and tell.
this is our show and tell music while I
It sounds very Halloween, right?
set it up.
Yeah, our middle guy loves to compose, and Nick will always go to him to go, hey, do you have more music? And now he has a whole slew of it, and we haven't used beyond.
How long has he been making music for?
Oh, a lot. He just loves music,
Okay.
and unfortunately, he's back into piano lessons. He started when he was 5 years old. He's now 14.
Oh.
But during pandemic, there was a huge pause, and unfortunately for that, his trajectory
Nice.
in like getting exams or grades have been kind of stifled, right? So I feel kind of sometimes bad when I think about lost time, because now that he's in grade 9, I actually asked his school, like his piano teacher, if should he be interested in pursuing a major in university in music. Is he still capable, right? And the answer really is no. Like he won't make those grades, which is unfortunate, right? Like and again, it's because we just pulled him out during the pandemic. But he is unlike myself. I also played an instrument growing up. I would diligently like just listen to my parents, Asian parents, and I would do the practice because I was required to do that. But he is on the keyboard all the time. Like he loves it. Like it's just energy, and he's always like, I feel like he's always bopping to something in his head. And
Ever since he was little.
Yeah,
actually.
always like, and he's always doing like the beatbox with his mouth, like
Yeah.
And
Amazing.
so
That's cool.
if it gets discovered, it'll be like American Idol and that guy who like, does the amazing thing with his guitar a few years ago. You know, Alejandro. But otherwise he's happy, like he's just perfectly happy. And when I ask him, do you still want to keep the lessons, he's like, yeah, I actually learned some things.
So it's a good hobby.
It's a good hobby.
hobby.
Yes, right.
What did you play? What instrument did you play?
Oh my gosh, 80s kid, the organ.
Interesting. Okay.
Who plays the organ?
Who plays the organ? Yeah, no, not the church organ. It's like the La Cucaracha on like the double
That's the
thing.
hands and the feet.
So my mom played the piano, right? It's like, why didn't you like just? And her mom before her played the piano.
That's how she courted me, because when I first came up to her house,
I won him over.
Her mom's
by my
like,
music.
"Oh, go play
Yeah,
the
see,
organ
Asian
for
parents.
Play the organ."
Oh, you brought a boy home. This is how you're gonna woo him.
So I had to sit there listening to La Cucaracha, and I'm like, "This is cool."
And here we are, you know. Oh, like
I stayed
28 years together.
It worked. So, you know.
Exactly.
It works.
Wow.
So what do you have?
My show and tell from my race. So this is the shirt that I had been vying for, a more recent shirt. And it's actually cool because it's the Day of the Dead.
Very cool.
And I really like all their print.
Yeah.
I don't know if it could have stayed more with the gray, but oh, someone's thinking of me. Hang on.
And then this is her medal.
Oh, very cool.
It's strangely very colorful. It's metallic, and I don't know what surface this is.
How come you're not wearing it?
Because he told me to not wear it earlier. So yeah, I feel like we've had a collection of races. It is backwards. Anyhow, but yeah, it was a fun event. I ran.
So what place did you come in?
Yeah, thanks, Dad. I was proud that I actually ran faster than what I was expecting. And and again, like when you're in a race, right? Like adrenaline takes over.
Right.
You have your training pace and you have your relaxed pace. And then when you're racing, in my head, I'm like, I am going to run faster than that young thing.
Yeah.
Oh, now it's the young.
You get
competitive
competitive as you get into it.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
And people were like just dressed like, you know, in so many different costumes. I was chasing this inflatable chicken. There was someone who was running as an inflatable chicken, and I'm like, nope, I'm gonna get you.
Did you?
And I did. Yeah, he had a malfunction.
Oh. Wardrobe malfunction.
Wardrobe malfunction. So that's one of my show and tells. But I also want to highlight, I'm a huge I love pens and I love writing, and I journal a lot. And today is actually fountain pen day, National Fountain Pen Day. I'm not sure if it's the US. Yes, fountain.
What?
I know. If there's like French fries day, today is like fountain pen day.
There's like a day for everything.
A day for everything. 365 days, 365 somethings, I'm sure, and more if there's multiples.
Wait, is it World Fountain Pen Day?
I think
national?
so, because like one of the places that I subscribe to, they're actually from New York, called the Fountain Pen Hospital. That's right, the Fountain Pen Hospital. And they celebrate National Fountain Pens. So I'm sure it's in everywhere. Okay. And just last weekend in Toronto here was Scriptus, which was the Toronto Pen Festival. I know this is a Lego channel.
It's all these fandoms that you're reading about.
And so part of my show and tell today is the pens that I carry with me every day. I carry
That's
these.
a cool pencil case. I haven't seen that.
So this is pencil case. I'm vintage. It's like a cassette. I feel like when kids see it, they're
Gen
like, "What
Z
is that?"
not gonna know what that is.
But I carry three. I carry a bunch of pens in here. It carries a lot, about 4 pens. But these are the pens that I carry on a daily basis, and I write in them all the time. And as the color indicates of the pen, this is the one that carries the red or the scarlet or that kind of color shades of ink. This one is more like the blues and the blacks and the grays.
Nice, and
this is my blue.
Or what is this?
Oh, it's spider.
Oh, it's a spider.
But yeah, I carry these all with me, and they're all fountain pens. And when you're writing with a fountain pen, it's smooth like butter. I can't
Yes.
explain. Like you
Smooth like
you
butter.
really just want to keep writing and writing and writing. So
But you've never had like a leak issue?
no.
Okay.
I feel like maybe this might be a potential one because this. So the other
Careful,
ones
don't
are
leak on the cool people.
piston draw.
Uh-huh.
This one is the different one where it has a converter. So this
Yeah.
one I can actually remove this and then I can select.
Are you a pen guy, Zane? Do
I
you
know.
know?
I feel like he
I'm
knows.
not.
Do you know
I'm
pens?
not.
Okay.
But like I've had fountain pens, and I know that like if you don't have a good one that's a little shoddy, like it can leak and stuff, right? So
Yeah, I
I've
think
definitely
if,
had some like bad experiences with some
Some
of them.
leakage.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
feel like if I had one to leak, it would be this. But so far, so good. I haven't had
Yeah.
to leak and everything. But
I'm
no,
sure
I
it's
carry
better
this
now.
around.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, I think the technology, and that's the thing. It's like
Right.
I don't even know a lot about fountain pens. My dad was a collector before. I
Yeah.
kind of took over his collections and stuff like that, and I appreciate how it writes. I know there's a bit more of an art form to it because you have to be
Yeah.
neat about drawing ink, and it is messy. Like my fingers are all covered with ink a lot of the
So
time.
have
and,
you ever like gone into like calligraphy?
Yes.
Okay.
So and I'm not good at all. Like this is like one of the things that I want to do better, and I just need to find time to sit and be patient. And like anything, handwriting is a patient activity, right? Like you're just sitting and you're actually watching your strokes. There's a specific paper that you have to write so that you get all of your spacings correct and your swirls. And I'm just mesmerized by all the people who also content create with their handwriting, and I'm just impressed
that's a
by
thing.
it. Yeah, it's
Instagram?
a huge,
It is,
and
yeah,
Instagram, and it's
People
beautiful.
like
And
sell stuff on Etsy and yeah.
gorgeous things. And
Mhm.
and it's really hard to veer from your handwriting. Like you have your handwriting, and to try to learn a font, like you have to be really mindful about size, proportion, and like again spacing, right? But earlier this year, one of my goals, because I'm crazy, is I wanted to learn how to write with my left hand.
Yeah.
Who does that?
No,
Me, I do it.
I have done that. Yes.
What?
Yes.
What?
Thank you. I knew we were kindred, especially when we said blah 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 library. What? You have me at Barnes and Noble.
So like years ago, I had to get. I feel like I'm unveiling my medical history here. I've had so many surgeries.
We talked about your knees and your eyes. Tell me about your hands.
Anymore, so you have to go lefty.
I tore a ligament in my wrist from boxing, and I had to get a cast, and this was like years ago. But I couldn't use my right hand at all, so I had to learn to do everything with my left.
Yes.
So like, and to this day, like I'll still eat with my left hand. I'll still brush my teeth with my left hand. I try to use it as much as I can still. But one of the things that I really struggled with was writing. And so like, I still try to like write with my left so that's not completely useless. And it's one of those things, it's kind of like running, right? Like if you don't use it, you'll lose it really quickly.
Yeah.
Like with running, you could train for like a half marathon and stop running for like a couple of weeks, and you will not be able to run again because your lungs just like lose it immediately, right?
Yes.
And the same thing with writing is like it's so difficult to learn how to write with your left. I feel like my right-handed writing isn't that good to begin with. My penmanship, like I remember very distinctly like going to private school when I was like living in Pakistan and getting like second place in like my class because of my penmanship. So like my writing is like going to be like my downfall all the time, but like my left-handed writing is even worse. So if I try to improve it, like it's so difficult, it's so challenging.
It is so difficult.
But because you never know what can happen, like maybe you break something, whatever, like it's still useful to be able to learn it. So yeah, Nick, there's nothing wrong with learning how to write with your left hand.
But after when I was learning, I mean, and this is it, it's different learning when you're a kid and you have no concept of letters, right? Like full on learning how to even grip. So you have an idea now as a grown-up that you have to grip a pencil a certain way. And of course, you know what you're going to write and you know which direction you're going to write. So you have all of those mechanics understood and you just want to execute it. Unfortunately, like here, I was humbled by the fact that, I do have friends who write left hand, and I have seen them like twist their elbow up or something, because you don't realize that you smudge so much of your hand, right, when you're writing left, and you really don't see the words you're writing because you're going over it. So for all those who are right-handed, please give your left-handed writing friends a bit more of a reprieve, because until I was learning it, and you can never, I don't know, I'm still working on it. It's a work in progress. I have pages and pages of like A. And I think I have printing okay, but writing like script,
Yeah.
It's like the next
No.
level monster. You're like, I
Right.
can't even do swirls. Like my brain is opposing what I want to do in my
Yeah,
hand,
yeah.
right? So it's
Yeah.
it's a very interesting whole process. But yeah, who learns how to write with their left hand? Me.
Two out of three. 2 out of 3.
Yeah.
What do you got, Zane?
Okay, I will show and tell. We were talking about tennis earlier. So before the world shut down, let me move this back up. Before the world shut down in 2019, I did my there we go, my Grand Slam tour, where I went to all 4 Grand Slams.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
crazy.
That's amazing.
In 1 calendar year. You can see
Amazing.
So did you get the balls at the gift shop?
So
Is that
How does this work? Now Nick's like, how can we do this? He's like, I've been watching tennis all my life. How come I don't do this?
I don't travel.
So for all of the slams, you can get a ball with the year on it, except for the Australian Open. The Australian Open ball, if you go to the gift shop, they just sell, like, it'll just say AO Australian Open, right?
Okay.
But the balls the players play with, they have the year on it. So you're wondering, how did I get this ball?
Yeah.
What's the year? I didn't see the year.
2019. And it was just perfect timing because it's like,
Oh,
the
okay,
next
yeah.
year, like, can you imagine if I had started in 2020, right? So I spent all the money to go to Australia in 2020, and then the world shuts down, and like Wimbledon is canceled, and I can't go. Like, I would be so like disheartened, right? Because like in 2019, I made this commitment. I was like, I'm going to go to all 4 this year. I have the time off. I have the money. Like, let's do it, right? And it's a lot of money to commit to doing that in 1 year, right?
Yeah.
But like the stars kind of aligned where it worked out that year. So I'm at Australia, and I attended like a practice session for Stefanos Tsitsipas, and he was like up and coming at the time. It was actually the first time he beat Federer that year. And it was like this huge upset. I think he lost to Nadal in the semifinal. It might have been the quarterfinal, but I remember he lost to Nadal. But so I attended this practice session right before that match, and I was watching, and I was one of the few people there because everyone's gung-ho about Nadal. And after he finished the session, one of his like guys tossed the ball to me, and I was like, "Oh, sweet!" So I'm not really like a big like autograph person. Like, I don't really care about that stuff. I do have like some signed tennis balls and stuff that I've just kind of chanced into, but to me, like, that was a huge part of like, oh, like, awesome, I got this, and it has the date on it and all that stuff. So I put it in like a case, and then as I went to the other slams, I put them in a case, and so that's my 4, like the like peak. Like, I think for any like diehard tennis fan who like lives and dies with the sport or whatever, like, you would love to go to all the slams.
Yeah.
To do it once in a calendar year is like even crazier.
Yeah, that's hard.
So that's my show and tell, and it transfers to like one of the things that I want to do for my Lego City is, because tennis is such a big part of me, I want to build like a tennis court in there. And so I've been looking at Rebrickable to look at mocks and like get a sense of like, what are some designs that I like, and then like, how do I want to evolve that? So I've seen some that are pretty cool. There's a part of me that wants to do like a grass, hard, and clay court in one, but it's like, you only have so much space. How do you put that there? Do you just put like one stadium with one specific court? So I don't know, but yeah.
You can even use like the foosball table flooring as like a hard court because it has the green in there, but just I guess the lines will be different. But
yeah, you have to play around with
for
it,
the
but
green.
Yeah, you certainly could. Yeah, you could use some elements from it for sure.
Yeah.
What do you got, Nick?
Keep chatting as I.
Oh yeah, he has to set up his thing.
Oh, okay.
So what Nick's show and tell is, well, he is actually the show and tell of Lego. But I had just recently celebrated. Well, at the company, I work in a hospital, and I think I'm at 18 years. But over the pandemic, the hospital usually celebrates 5-year milestones.
Oh, okay.
And so over the pandemic, I celebrated 15, but they couldn't do anything to commemorate. So now they're kind of catching up with trying to get all of their employees who are still with them sort of commemorative gifts. But this year, they chose first to commemorate those who are actually celebrating the 15th this year. So I'm already like 3 years ahead of them. But they got a catalog of things to order from. Okay. And so us old ears were like, oh my God, I can't wait until we get our catalog because, and so like even Lego sets were on this catalog. So one of my girlfriends, she ordered the Patronus. And so I'm like, oh, I can't wait until I get my order. And they made a huge error that they ended up just giving us old ears, like a $25 gift card. And I'm like, man.
Oh, so you couldn't get the Patronus?
I couldn't get the Patronus.
Sorry,
However, anyways, here's Nick. He's going to show it. But they said that they're going to fix that. Unfortunately, because I don't trust if they were going to not give us any more. I quickly spent my $25 gift card on Amazon because like, what if they take it away from me? And then they, because I'm that kind of kid, it's like, where's my candy? Oh, you might take my candy away from me. It's gone. It's eaten. If you need it back, it's digested. However, they said,
even if there's VIP points, she's quick to spend it just in case they take it away.
Once upon a time, our VIP points were linked. I'm like, hey, how many points were in this card? What?
Okay, so
there we go. Okay.
So the set I built this week is actually the Patronus.
It's a Patronus, and I have to say I didn't realize we have it.
So amazing. I like this set. It's pretty cool. You had the option of building the stag or the wolf.
I like the stag. I didn't realize the wolf.
I think I want to get another one and build.
How about let's wait until maybe they might give it to me in my catalog. It might be a freebies.
But yeah, it's a nice build. It's in this
and then
light blue.
Right. Well, both of them have the same label, like the Expecto.
Yeah, because that's what they say. Expecto Patronus.
That's a spell. Yeah.
They don't say Expecto Patronus stag.
Right.
But and then
Are there new pieces in this?
This is a new piece here. So it's a wand.
Oh, it's blurry.
It's a wand with like a
flower end. Oh,
translucent piece.
So it's showing like the lights.
But it allows you to attach like a disc because when he does it, it kind of glows.
I see.
But it doesn't look like a wand, but it has like that wand nub at the end where he can hold it. But this is new. I haven't seen this. I don't know if you've seen this, Zane, but I haven't seen this piece before.
Gone are just the cylinder toothpick kind of wands.
But yeah, this build felt like a mock when I was building it.
Really?
Like it's so it's like a lot of snot building techniques everywhere. There's the only studs are like here and here. Everything else is very smooth.
It's a really cool color.
It's a cool color. This is the same color as the Vespa, I believe.
Oh, okay.
They came out with a.
It's not quite a periwinkle blue. What blue would this be?
Yeah, it's like
it's like a lavenderish blue to it. Like
how they did the antlers was pretty cool too.
I always say, like, I appreciate how Lego creates the journey for the builder. It's not just this piece on this piece. Like when you're actually putting things together, sometimes you don't realize like where your endpoint is. And then you're like, oh, that was amazing how that came together, right? I always appreciate
some sets always baffle me. Like when I was building the Red 5 helmet back here, I felt like that one was so unique compared to the other helmets because like I was building that. I'm like, what is going on here? Like, how are they putting this together? And it's always amazing to me how you can go from like one little brick, you start with one thing and you get to this end result.
Exactly.
This is what Zane's talking about. So like the Red 5 helmet. And then all the other helmets are like
they
look the same.
Shy.
It's very different.
But then this is just like
hey Shy, what's up, dude?
A helmet.
But yeah, like like anyone, like the creative designers of Lego sets, they could have just made the whole experience boring, right? Like you can be building it like layer after layer, like an axial slice of a CT, but really they made it fun. Like I can't explain it other than knowing how the build goes, right? Like you appreciate the process, really. The journey.
I think that people on the outside looking in, they don't understand how much time goes into this set development, and they don't give the proper credit. That should be like there are for sure some sets that miss the mark, right? Like it's not a great building experience or they're really fragile and stuff. But for the most part, especially in today's universe, like so many sets have really good stability. The design process, the build process, the build experience, it's all really, really good.
Yes.
And I just don't think the designers always get their due, and it's a little unfair. I feel like people love to
I know.
rag on Lego for the negative,
Yeah.
but they never like give them their credit for like all the good that they do too. And
Correct.
that's a little like disheartening to see.
Right.
So here in Canada, we still have our Toys R Us.
Yeah.
And this was week 4 of Bricktober.
But it's so sad now. It's
Ooh.
just in a little
And
plastic
so
bag.
week 4 of Bricktober is this dinky little, I
What
guess
is
it's like
that?
a computer, or
Did you just buy the package, or is this a gift with purchase?
it's a gift with purchase. You spend $25
Mm.
and you get a gift with purchase. And so this was, I brought the other ones out. So week 3 was a birdhouse. And
Yeah.
then
Bricktobers before were like nicely boxed.
Week
Like there was so
2
much, but I guess it would be like recyclable.
it's just like in these bags.
Now they're just
Week
making
2
it
was like
as spare as possible with
like a
their
music
packaging.
box. And then week 1 was this mixing bowl. So just
That's
it's
really
more
cool.
free Lego. It's more free
Yeah.
Lego, but like compared to last
A
year,
couple of
which
years
was
ago. Yeah. Even
like
last
these
year.
cool
Like in a box.
box here, which was a
And
glass
it was
year.
more
Like
thoughtful how
the
they
pirate one.
That is
package
really
things.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
and so
like,
now it's like a Ziploc.
there was like a space
Albeit-
one.
albeit an interestingly shaped Ziploc, right? You don't quite see a vertical.
So these
Design.
cubes are nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
And
And
now we
now
just
you
have
get-
this.
Now you get this.
It's like, do you want your
Yeah.
sandwich in this box or this
'Cause you
Ziploc,
still-
honey?
Because you still get in these boxes, you still get the same bag.
Yeah.
It's just
Like
in a
it's the
box.
same bag here.
But maybe it's the
at
same,
least-
like the new.
I wonder why. Like,
The pick a brick boxes is going into more of a box look, but more
Oh,
biodegradable, more
this is a good transition to
Yeah.
whenever we move on to the news. But I was at my Lego store today, or one of like the ones near me, and I didn't know this, but apparently the boxes are rolling out like very soon
Okay.
in the States. So like person there told me that at least for California, like a lot of stores are gonna expect to start in like December with the boxes.
Oh, for
What
Christmas.
boxes? are
For
we
pick a
talking
brick.
about?
For the pad wall, like normally
Oh, right.
you have
right.
like the
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
the
It used to be
cups, right?
cups,
And
Instead
so
of
like
now it's
cups.
yeah,
very
yeah, and so like they started in
biodegradable.
Europe. They started in
Yeah.
Europe with the boxes, and then it went really well there. So they're bringing it over here as well. And we didn't really know when that was going to like start. And there's some speculation that it would be like next year at some point. But when I went today, I actually saw like the box there, and
the Gringotts.
so should be soon.
All right.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
We will see it. I don't know how long
Yeah,
it'll take.
I like the cups though, because I store a lot of parts in those cups as for like for sorting purposes. But I guess boxes are okay too.
I think that like there's so many different shapes or pieces that it should be easier in theory to put them into a flat box instead. And then from a storage perspective, I actually think so. Like if you have like one of these drawers, right? Well, the cup isn't going to fit in there, but it will fit a bunch of boxes. So I think from a storage perspective, they'll actually be more efficient to put your parts, because not everyone has
true.
like like Acro Mills or whatever storage cases for all your parts. And even I have 3. I don't have anywhere near where I want to be when I'm done, right? Because there's so many different parts that you want to add to your stash so that you can build whatever you want. So in the meantime, like I feel like those boxes you should be able to store a lot more and not have like cups everywhere. And like when you have a cup, like you have to dig really deep to get some pieces, right? Whereas this, you can see everything is right there. So I don't know. In theory, it makes sense to me. I'm excited for the change. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
All right, we'll go into our next segment, our
And
last
last.
segment, which is
It's time for news you can use.
news that you can use. As I set everything up. Where is it?
I'll memorize this next time.
Alan the Brick Fan.
Thank you, Ellen, the Buffet, for Octo.
All right. Oh. Let's try that again. News that you can use thanks to Alan the Brick Fan. So what do we got here? Oh, so the Winter Fun VIP add-on
Right.
pack.
Mhm.
I think it's live now. Actually, it's more than just revealed.
November
because-
3. I think so. It's November 3.
It's live. It's live.
It's live. Purchases of $50.
But it says here, what is this? This is something different. It has 142 pieces available in December.
Oh, this is different. Is that what they're saying? Interesting.
There's an add-on poly bag with the VIP fun pack.
Oh,
it's a different one than
it's the
one that's
house.
there right now.
I think they're talking about this little house, maybe.
So it's a better view down here that you can actually see it a bit more clear, the design of it. It's cute.
I guess it's a lot of white pieces.
Very winter.
Right.
All right.
With a guitar.
Something more to look forward to in December. So I was looking at this and it says Black Friday preview live stream announced.
Okay.
So is this the Avengers Tower that they're going to
So live stream from Denmark.
show?
November
Maybe
8th.
they're gonna unveil.
Interesting.
And a chance to win.
As well as a
Minus
gift with
time.
purchase set available during the Black Friday weekend.
Yeah, I
a couple
haven't
weeks,
heard.
right?
I haven't heard what the gift with purchase set is gonna be. So that'll be
So
interesting.
3 more weeks.
And a
24th.
chance to win one of 30 100 gift cards.
That's generous.
Okay.
Interesting. So this here, Lego Ideas and Target,
Okay.
there's actual builds that you can vote on. And so one is here. This is kind of like a great ball contraption, I think. The stem ball machine.
And
That's
it's,
cool.
Continuous, yeah.
Yeah, this one's cool. It goes
That's
around.
cool.
Or you can vote for How Do We
Ooh.
Fly? The Evolution of the Airplane,
Okay.
which you guys can tell me which ones you'd vote for after you see them all.
Ooh.
Knowledge is
what
power.
do you think?
I'm thinking Maria might be more into
I'm a
this
bit
one.
partial to things that pop out of books.
That's really cool.
What
That
do we
is
have
cool.
here? We have like a spaceship. We have a robot.
Scientist,
We have like
in
a
blue.
city.
satellite.
Does
Cool.
that actually close though? I'd be
No,
surprised.
I think it's
I
like
don't think it's too big. Yeah.
a few years ago they had books with like fairy tales.
That would
Yeah.
open up, yeah.
Each
But
year
this
they just
seems-
opened up.
yeah.
Yeah,
These are just opened up, yeah.
yeah.
still
they're just
cool,
opened
This
yeah.
up, yeah.
this is more like the remember we had the Hans Christian Andersen.
Yes, those sets. Yeah, one of it was
It was like a book.
Great Expectations, and it's just open versus the Disney Princess ones that.
And then we have the antique
Oh,
microscope.
that looks cool too.
What are they microscoping here?
Germs.
Oh, I guess it's a shield. Captain America. It's like a Captain America shield, but it's like just clear.
Something that's Honey, I Shrunk Your Kids.
Yeah. So what? I guess this is the one
Yeah.
you'd vote for.
This is
What about you, Zane?
I'm gonna go with number 1. This one.
The
Just
great ball
because, like,
contraption?
yeah, just because the motion looks really cool. I'd be like,
It does. It does.
Yeah.
It's very
Um,
steep.
I
Right?
think
like
I'd
it
go
looks
with
like the carry is.
I'd go with number 1 as well for me. Just
Yeah.
you get more unique parts here.
Yeah. Clever Pig says that the GWP is probably the Avengers Tower.
Oh, okay.
Some sort of
Like a-
car. Interesting.
Like a micro Avengers Tower.
No, I think like related to the tower, like they're probably
Oh,
announcing
an
the tower
add-on.
and then announcing like the GWP that goes with the tower.
It's like an add-on.
Yeah. Interesting.
Interesting. Yeah. What else do we have? Oh, so only in
Lego Masters
Walmart's, but I think
Oh.
Walmart's US.
Yeah,
But
yeah, for sure.
there's a gift with purchase that is the Lego Master Trophy.
I haven't finished. Is the season done?
don't think so.
We're behind. We're
No,
behind.
yeah,
we have to
We're
catch
behind
up.
too. We're behind too.
So this is if you spend $50
Hmm.
or more at Walmart, you can pick up this Lego Master Trophy, which I guess it's not a technical build. It's pretty simple pieces here.
We can make our own.
It looks like it just has those brickhead pieces on the inside.
Right.
You know the one I'm talking about, that the brickhead pieces that
Yep.
that they have on the inside of the brickheads just to get the snot.
One thing I
Oh,
learned
yeah.
about Lego Masters is even if you're on there, apparently you don't get to, like, you know how you see people turn in their sig fig when they're eliminated?
Yeah.
Yes.
So you don't get to keep it in any way, shape, or form. But what
Ah.
I've heard is that whoever wins, you
Keeps
get
there.
all the sig figs on the trophy.
Oh.
So that's the only person that gets to have all the figs from that season.
Interesting.
That's cool.
I feel like I heard that mentioned at Brick Slopes. Like one of the masters that was there was telling me about
Yeah,
that. That's pretty cool. I mean,
yeah.
Yeah, that's neat.
the other perks for winning. Like that's a nice little bonus that you get.
Exactly. Exactly.
Lego Insider Club announced membership program for children.
Interesting.
I'm not sure what this is.
I feel like a long time ago, like Lego used to give free Lego builds every month. So me and the boys would like line up for it. But I feel like that was some sort of an insiders club. I'm surprised that they're reopening something.
But it looks like it's like children safety features.
Yeah.
It's
So-
to
so
learn
what
building
kids can-
skills.
Children can or cannot do. All right, what else do we have here?
It's telling us to watch the musical 6.
Oh wait, what did I do here?
I don't know. Back?
I think you clicked on it to like go deeper into it instead of going to next.
Now I can't go back. Oh, there. I thought I pressed continue. Oh, what's this? Whoa.
Oh, there we go. Okay.
Oh, this is last week.
Okay.
All right. Because I pressed continue, but I thought that was like the next page. Oh, I pressed continue. And okay, this here. Lego Pick-a-Brick removing over 2,000 elements soon.
What? I haven't even
Wow.
seen the sheep number 5 in my
The
wall.
pig.
I
No,
didn't
the
know
pig.
there was 5 different types of sheep.
Seriously.
Do you do Pick-a-Brick, Zane?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh my
Definitely.
gosh.
But you
For
do
a
it for
lot of-
bricks, not unique. Like you won't
No,
get like 100 pigs.
Not 100 pigs, but like my
Okay,
wife
here's
is really into F1. And so I wanted to put
Oh.
together like a racing team for the city.
Oh,
like an
fun.
F1
Oh,
racing
look at
team.
that.
So what I ended up doing is I have been getting this is the Octan racing shirt. And then
nice.
because I wanted to make it my own, I took off the green arms and I put red ones on. And then
Yeah.
these are the soccer legs, or like the ones that you'll find on like the table, I think, the football table.
Okay. Yeah.
And then
yeah.
like I'll use the Pick-a-Brick to find like unique faces. Like I wanted to do flesh colored figs for the city, just to like, I don't know, make it feel a bit more real or like more true to me, because like I'm a person of color. Like I feel like my city should be full of color.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for
Um,
sure.
And so
There's
like
so many heads to look through.
I
yeah, and so
know.
like I'll find like different elements, like whether it be a face or like hair or like different like things to give or like parts for the body. So like I'll look through that, and then obviously like if I'm really struggling to find something on Bricklink, or like it's just too much shipping things, then I'll just consolidate it at one if it makes
Yeah.
sense price wise, you know. So I've definitely used Pab from Lego
Nice.
too. Yeah.
Lego Jurassic World 2024 official product listing. So this is
Ooh.
cool. Did you
Yeah.
see this one?
Yeah. I saw this.
So there's two actually. So the first one is this Baby Dinosaur Rescue Center,
No, I like the first one.
which is like
Baby
Oh, that's the
Dinosaurs
first one.
baby
Rescue Center.
dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then the second one,
Oh,
here's some more pictures of the first one.
Yeah.
Mm,
Second one,
Yeah,
dinosaur
this
fossil
is cool.
T-Rex.
that
So
looks
this
pretty
is
cool.
only $40.
That's very good.
And it's
Very nice.
it looks like it even has like a
With
plaque.
the
Yeah.
footprints.
Would this be a T-Rex footprint? It
I
looks
guess
like a bird
so.
here.
Well, this is it, right? Like I go to the museum enough times during the year here in Toronto. And they had the recent exhibit of the T-Rex, and
With
their
feathers?
theory is, of course, because birds are descendant from dinosaurs, that dinosaurs from the past actually had feathers or are more multicolored than what we are believing.
We
you
always
know,
think of them as like
gray
lizards.
or but it was an interesting concept with their new discoveries. But yeah, T-Rexes as birds.
But this is nice. I like this.
Yeah.
It's a nice one.
It's definitely like a nice eye-catching display piece.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I wonder if they'll make like a stegosaurus or like
We're
a
getting greedy
triceratops.
now.
You know, like something.
Are you guys going to get the new modular on day one when it comes out? The museum?
We're not here.
Actually, we are here. It's coming out December 1st now.
Oh, December.
Yeah, they
Look at the
Yeah.
face of my husband. Why is
That's
it so
a
early?
game changer.
That's like them having 2 modulars in a year. How?
What was the gift with purchase on December 1st that we saw earlier?
Yeah.
Oh, it's the winter.
The white
winter
winter.
The white
add-on pack,
winter.
Yeah. But
I
they
wonder if
might
there's gonna
have
be a
like
better
something
one.
that goes with the
Yeah,
the
true.
museum. I don't know.
Yes, yes.
Like another.
Because sometimes they come out later too, like the GWP that goes with it.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like the limousine for the
Theater.
theater. The moving truck was for the theater, and then the
Oh,
limousine
right.
was for the hotel.
That's right.
Or not
I thought-
limousine. It was
I
like a
thought-
vintage
I thought
car.
it was the moving truck for the jazz club, right?
Yeah,
And
for the
then
jazz.
and then like a taxi.
Oh,
for the
sorry,
hotel,
not
right?
a movie theater. Yeah, sorry, jazz club, and the taxi for the hotel.
Hotel, yeah.
Mhm.
But I don't know
Yeah.
the ones like before that or if that was the case or not because like I wasn't into.
I think the
movies.
taxi was like the first time they did something like that. They didn't really
Okay.
have a gift with purchase. 2 Lego Minecraft sets revealed. Are you into Minecraft, Zane?
I've never played it.
Mm.
I've
So,
never played it.
I always think of
Are your
Minecraft
kids into it?
Yes.
when they were
Okay.
younger.
When they were younger. Hayden.
Okay.
Hayden's kind of.
He's kind of into
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I was into it before I got into Lego. I
Okay.
played it a lot
Okay.
on my iPad, and then my iPad crashed, and I lost all
it's
my worlds
lot
and
of-
things. So I just stopped playing. But yeah, these are 2 sets. I'm not so into the Minecraft sets. I think of them
Yeah.
as parts packs
Yeah.
because they just have lots of parts.
Mhm.
I feel like a lot of people say that about Friends too. Like Friends has a lot of parts that
Mhm.
that are like really nice.
Yep.
That you can use for like very creative projects. This looks really cool.
Yes,
The Galileo.
Is this a gift with purchase? I forget.
Yep.
Hmm.
That
So
was
it's
October
live.
31st, yeah.
It was live
Oh,
on
okay.
Halloween. Well, this
Yeah.
is Halloween. Lego Ideas Tribute to Galileo and Christmas VIP add-on pack promotions.
Mm,
So both of them are live.
for $130.
And this
Yeah,
is the add-on pack. I like the add-on packs.
Yes,
They're-
I was gonna
if you get
say.
multiples, then you get all these like pieces in bunches,
Mm.
which is cool.
This is a museum.
And here's the
Yeah, it is.
modular.
What's that
Are you interested in this
green,
thing?
avocado green?
I don't know.
You're still on the fence.
There wasn't anything about it that just kind of like jumped off the screen and wowed me.
Mhm,
I really like the pillars. I think those look really cool. I
mhm.
think the roof
How
looks
is
really
this-
cool.
Dog carrying the bone in its mouth,
I don't.
or is that?
I
is
think it's
that
probably
like-
attached to the thing, but I don't know. I haven't seen like reviews on it and stuff. I don't really
Mhm.
know.
Who
I
has it? I saw Stud Sidious has it.
You mean
I,
Stud City?
Yes,
saw-
Stud City.
I saw
City.
Emmasaurus was unveiling the box
Yeah.
on Instagram.
Tiago posted like his review today, I think.
Oh, okay.
But like I don't know. I like to form my own opinions usually, and I feel like I'd want to see
Mhm.
it in person.
Mhm.
And I feel like it's such a big set; it would take up so much space.
Is it a more standard size?
It's bigger. It's
modular, or-
48
No,
by
it's-
48
I think
across.
I think it's
Oh.
1.5 base plates. I think
Yeah.
it's the same size as Assembly Square. I think.
Oh, okay.
Across, it's 48 studs and it's 36 studs depth. So usually the modular is 36 by
Mhm,
36. So
mhm.
this is an extra 16. And then this is the
Actually, the
Dunes
Dune.
set,
That looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
That looks pretty cool.
which I saw a video. The designer was like
Oh, cool.
retracting these wings, and then the wings flap. So there's
Oh, no
all
way.
these functions
That's cool.
inside.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
But this is the problem, right? Like, there's so many cool things that
Yeah.
they've been coming out with, and it's like,
I know.
how much can you spend on Lego in
Right.
1 year?
This is way
They
over
catch up.
overpriced for the piece
for the
count
number
too.
of pieces? It's true.
Yeah,
though.
but the thing is, like, they're not selling to you, an avid Lego fan, right? What they're selling to there is someone who is a Dune fan
yes,
that sees something and they're like, oh, that looks really cool.
yes.
Let me buy this, and maybe now I'll get into the hobby, and then I'll start buying
Correct.
other Lego.
Correct.
They're not.
It's
You're
the
not. You're not the
gateway.
target audience for this, right? The target
Yes.
audience is a Dune fan.
Yes. Lego
Well,
is really.
well, actually, I am the target audience,
Stop
but don't tell
it.
me.
but Lego's really like aggressively marketing to any
Yeah,
like sentiment, really, right?
Yeah.
So
it's why like
Nabbit.
I am.
Oh, go ahead.
I am surprised. I guess I get it from a violence standpoint, but I mean, we do have Star Wars, right? So like, I'm surprised that
Yeah.
Lego hasn't had a partnership with World of Warcraft yet,
mm,
because I feel like you would uncover a whole
A whole-
swath of
yeah.
fans. Like, I would be
Right.
so screwed if they made a World of Warcraft theme. Because
Yeah.
like, or that's a Warcraft theme or like a StarCraft theme. Like, I don't want to buy all the stuff, you know? And it's like, but with what money? Like, then how
Yeah.
am I buying anything else? Right? It's like,
Yeah.
I'm literally like all my money, all my disposable
Take
income.
my money.
Yeah. Like, and
Who
it's like,
needs
that's just
groceries
not,
next month?
you
Yeah.
you can't do that. Right?
No,
So
no. For
you have
sure.
to really be selective with what you buy, I think.
Oh,
And,
absolutely.
yeah.
Lego Super Mario Nabbit.
I thought
at
Super Mario
Toad
was
Shop.
about to fold.
Probably, but maybe these are like their last
The cloud is cute.
Last
I
ditch
guess,
effort.
But yeah, no. This is also
I don't know about this Nabbit. It looks pretty scary.
looks like a Japanese kabuki.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Actor.
Penguin family. I've never gotten any of these add-ons before.
No.
Me neither.
Sorry.
Oh, I didn't see this picture. So is this, which character is this?
I think that's Shadow.
Shadow?
Yeah. Shadow's Escape. Yeah. Shadow.
I haven't got any Sonic set yet. I'm still waiting for it to go on sale. But
Me
this
neither.
hairpiece looks cool. How it's like, yeah,
Fine.
that was revealed. We saw that already.
Yeah, that is
Clever Pig says top 10 themes I couldn't care less about. TBH. What do you
from
mean?
the
Oh,
for
probably
the
Dune
Atreides, the Dune one.
or Super Mario.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, because he
Probably
said he's a fan of the Dune one. Oh, Mario.
right,
Got it.
Mario.
Okay. Got it.
Mario.
Got it.
Deal for
TIE
the
Bomber.
TIE Bomber.
I didn't get this one.
I didn't either.
What was that?
Oh, they're tiny plants. I don't know. I've seen
Those look really cute. I really like them.
you can probably put them in like little shelves.
These things remind me of Mario, the
Yeah.
little pots.
Yeah, but I mean, they also have like the piranha plant, right? That's coming out pretty soon.
How
I
did
don't know.
Cody has the piranha plant.
Yeah, how
I
do you
just
get
saw
it?
him,
Cody, are you still here? If you are, tell us about your piranha plant.
Yeah. It's cute.
I don't know. I love the botanical sets. Like they're really fun to
Mhm.
build. The orchid.
Do you have
set,
all of them?
dude, the only
Or
one
which
we
ones don't you
don't
have?
have, I think, is the Birds of Paradise. I think that's the only one we don't have.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we have that.
But
a good one.
to date, I think the orchid set is one of my all-time
Yes.
favorite Lego builds. Like
Yeah.
it was such a fun experience, such a soothing process. Like I really just, and the
Yes.
set looks gorgeous. Like it,
Yes,
yeah,
I love it too.
yeah.
Surprisingly, the dried flower centerpiece looks better than the box. Because remember we were building
I know.
and then the
I
box
was
it looks like
ho-hum
a
about it, and
bunch
then
of
it
mess.
was such a fun
And then when
build.
it goes
to
together, it's
create
like,
the
oh,
wreath or-
okay.
Yeah.
It's
Which
nice.
one's your favorite, Maria?
I love the orchid, but I
Okay.
also love, before all of these were coming out, the bonsai.
Oh,
Which
the
I don't
bonsai.
know if you want to catch, into the same category, but
It is.
I
It's
do- I do
botanical.
Yeah, it is.
that.
It says botanical on there.
yes. But
Yeah.
again,
You don't like
I
the
love
roses, the 12 roses that I got you?
things, Nick. I don't know.
So are you guys gonna get this on day one? Or later?
Maybe
Later. I'll get this eventually, but
I feel
There-
like for us, a lot of botanicals come to Costco sooner or later.
Yeah, that's a good
So
point.
like
Yeah.
I'd probably just wait
That's
until
a great
then.
point. Mhm.
Like,
Costco deals
we-
on Lego are good.
We picked up 2 of the dried flower ones because we already have one. We picked up the other 2 so that we could connect them together and try to figure
Yeah.
out like how can we hang it. But
Yeah.
we waited until
Oh.
the ones came to Costco and we got it for like I think it was like 20 or 30% off compared to like
Wow.
the retail
Yeah.
price.
We just
It's
picked
worth
up the
it.
advent calendars at Costco and
Yeah.
it was a really
Yes.
good deal.
Yeah,
Yeah. What I learned last year was the first time I ever did an advent calendar. And what I learned is
so fun.
if you just wait until like December, you'll get it for
Yeah.
like more than half off at that
That's
point.
right. Yeah.
So like, yeah, maybe I might miss out on like the first day or 2, but
Mhm.
like whatever, I'll still get, So I don't know.
Yeah.
Harry Styles, Love
Oh.
on Tour.
On tour.
Is this gonna be like
For all those
BTS?
Harry Styles fans, see, ooh, what is he wearing?
Which one is Harry Styles? This
I
guy?
think that guy.
Who are these
because
guys? These are-
backups.
I don't know.
What was his group again? Oh, One Direction, right?
Yeah,
One
but
Dir-
he's on his own now.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah.
Oh, are these the names of the people?
Yes.
Maddie,
Wow.
Polly, Sarah,
I'm
Mitch,
out.
Lloyd. Yeah, we're not in anymore. It seems like Zayn knows these characters. He's a
I
Harry
don't
Styles
at
fan.
all. I don't
I'm
at
joking.
all.
Huh.
I actually I'm so far removed from some of this stuff. Like when the BTS set came out, I'm like, what? I don't know. What is this? And
I had to
some
do
friends that
research.
explained to me. Yeah.
Yeah, Nick did research.
I did my research first, and then I got into
Listened
it.
to a lot of their songs. He was my
I was watching the
K-pop
documentaries, so learning about each
teenager.
natural
There's a museum
history.
again.
So there's some interior pictures in
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
So it looks like you get like one of those solar systems.
Ah,
Here's the big, and this looks like
Brontosaurus inside.
it's like going into the second floor too. So
Yeah.
there's probably an opening in the middle. And it looks like there's like little rooms in here that you kind of walk through.
Museums are fun.
Yeah. Maria's a big museum. Whenever we go to a new city, she always wants to go to the museum there.
Oh, okay.
I
Cool.
love
Big-
old dead things.
Big museum. Like, cool dead
If
things.
that's previously buried and
Yeah. Oh, is this a sneak peek of the gift
Oh.
with purchase? You get like a little
maybe.
hot dog.
look at that.
Interesting.
Because I haven't seen this set before. This blue.
Yeah.
This is the same blue as the stag.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So maybe they don't say here, but it could be.
A random blue.
Oh, here.
There's a random blue food truck next to it.
It could be the gift with purchase. There
Yeah.
we go. Alan the Brick Fan says
Only yes.
it.
On the sale. Did we get this?
I have it. I haven't opened it.
Oh,
I like it.
I do like it too. It was like
I saw
rainbow.
some mocks. People make mocks with this like striped background,
Oh, nice.
and it was like Star Wars vignettes,
Oh, that's cool.
That would be
and it was like a Tatooine one, and it was like a Hoth one, but then the background was with the stripes with the different shades.
Mm.
So it's a cool concept.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Design Seminar Cosmic Daydreams. Oh, I think we saw this.
The 29th, I'm not sure.
That's Monday.
But they talk about a purple spaceman, but we've gotten a purple spaceman already.
Maybe.
But this is supposed to be a purple. It looks blue here, but I think it's supposed to be purple.
I see purple. I don't know.
It's like that dress. Is it blue
Or white.
blue or white?
This was yours.
Do you remember that, Zane? That the dress? It was like a
Yes.
whole meme thing.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
blue or gold or whatever. Yeah.
Yes, blue or gold.
I forget what I saw.
How
All
did
right,
they
that's the
do
end
this?
there.
I think I saw gold.
Yeah.
All right. So Zane, what are you up to this weekend?
More stuff on the house. Just a constant.
That's the main project right now.
Yeah. We have like an objectives board. So like we don't do
Oh, okay.
New Year's
You
resolutions,
guys
but we have like
engineers that you have like
Yeah, it's very
well
methodical. I like it.
Methodical.
so the way I look at it is I feel like there's so many times where you look at the calendar and be like, where did the year go? Right.
Absolutely. Mhm.
And you just kind of like it just flies by. Every year just flies by, right? And so what we started doing was we started putting together a list of like things that we wanted to accomplish in a year, so that we could then say at the end of the year, and we update it every month. We can be like, okay, so here's what we actually accomplished, throughout the calendar year. And Nikki, and I don't know, I think it helps you stay a little bit focused on whatever goals you have throughout the year. But you can also look at like how you're tracking and like what are you falling behind in and things like that. So it's been really useful to us. It may not be like an every person's thing, but it works for us. And we have a few things that we need to catch up on. But also like I never feel that you should be able to knock off everything on your list, because if you knocked everything off, then it means that you weren't ambitious enough in your year, right? So like I'm always glad that like
That's a good
not that I want to like leave things undone. But if I knocked off like call it 80 or 90%, well, that's pretty good, right? And then now I can aspire to something else in the next year and continue to grow my plate. And like life happens, things change. You never know like what hurdles and things come into place. So, but it's a good way to kind of for me to keep track on things and like stay true to like what I'm trying to do.
So with 2 months left in the year, how are you guys in terms of your percentage of things completed?
We really did not do a good job of working out as much as we wanted to.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That
the working out
was
part.
that was a big miss. Like last year, my goal was 200 workouts in the calendar year, and I hit that.
Okay.
And so I wanted to replicate that again this year, and I fell way short of the mark. And I don't really know what it was. Maybe I was just burnt out from last year because I was doing so much. So
this is it, right?
yeah. So
So
now
you
it's like,
record everything. Everything's like recorded, and that's cool.
yeah. So like I can now use information from this year to like recalibrate and be like, okay, how can I assess 2024? And then how can I like make it a focus of like, hey, I missed out on this last time. So let me make sure that I like put more emphasis towards it this time, right?
So who's more into the goals, you or your wife? Like who's spearheading and all right, yeah, let's do this.
I think both of us are pretty into
Take
it.
turns, yeah.
Because like it started when before the pandemic we had this like workout competition where we would basically be putting like basically what we would do is we had an Excel document and we would have like a pot. And so you'd compete for like points. Any workout that you did accounted for a number of points, and you would win the week and you would win the month. And the winner of like
so much
the
fun in their household.
yeah,
I
so, like,
know. We have
so
no
like if
competitions like this.
so if you won
You
the
don't even
month,
want to compete with me. That's
No.
why.
if you won the month, you would put like $10 in, and if you lost the month, you're putting like $20 in. So both people are contributing to the pot,
Oh.
right? But the loser contributes more. And then at the end of the calendar year, there's like a loser contribution and a winner contribution, which is like call it like 200 or 400 or whatever the number is, right? And then that money at the end of the year from the whole pot, that's our vacation money.
Ah, I love it.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's
So yeah, just like
Yeah.
things that you can like. One of the things that people always say is that like, you know, you want to continue dating while you're still married, right? You want to keep that fire and all that stuff. And
Yes.
like
This is our
little
date,
things like
our
that.
Friday night date.
You're part
Yeah.
of it.
I
We finally
appreciate
get to
it.
hang out.
But like little things like that
Yeah.
works for us, right? It may not work for everyone, but like
Right.
we are pretty competitive and we like to like motivate each other. And so
yeah, that's great.
things like that, it works for us, right? Maybe this year it's been a little different because maybe we built more Lego together, right? And hasn't been as much working out, right?
Yeah.
So in any case, like you take the good and you look at like what you missed out on, and then how do
For
you
sure.
reanalyze your goals for next year,
Yes,
and you build on
yes.
that. So
Keep challenging each
Nice,
other, keep
nice.
growing together, right?
right.
What about us? What do we have this weekend?
Oh, I'm working tomorrow. I'm on call.
Just I guess the kids have their
Yeah, so
activities.
this is it. Like back to school means all of their activities are like back in
Basketball
full
and
force.
swimming.
So we have to put the backyard stuff away, which you kind of covered.
I did that.
Okay. So things like that, you know, but I
Yeah.
And soon we're going to be
appreciate
putting up
as I
Christmas
get older, I
decorations.
do appreciate like the downtimes that we have in the weekends because
Yeah.
it can get pretty.
Do you guys do your
busy.
Christmas decorations after Black Friday?
Thanksgiving.
After Thanksgiving?
Neither of us come from a background where we celebrate Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
So
No
like
Christmas
religions, yeah. So
Yeah.
I feel like I've maybe once had a Christmas tree, and it was because like my roommates wanted one, and I was like,
Right,
sure,
right,
let's
right.
do it.
Yeah.
Wait, so the advent calendar is just going to be opened up right away?
No, also if I do it, I did one last year, and I thought it was
You
okay.
do the
I didn't
days?
like love it, you know.
Yeah.
So I feel like if I do it again, I'll still go by the days because like I don't know, I feel like that's part of the experience of the calendar, right?
Yeah.
You want to
Yeah.
open it daily.
Yeah.
But like Christmas is not something that like is like a huge thing in
Mhm.
our household, right? It's just like we didn't grow up with it. So
No. Well, it's so
Um,
funny because like I have a couple of friends who also didn't grow up with it, but they feel like when not that they have kids, and I guess it's so commercialized, they also want to have that sort of a
Elf on a
practice.
shelf?
Yeah, elf on the shelf, or that practice of Christmas tree. So a friend of mine, they're celebrating Diwali soon. But
Oh,
they're
okay.
like, yep, we're going to put a Christmas tree up. And I think they've had this Christmas tree since their oldest daughter was born 7 years ago. And the girls enjoy it, right? So they're making their own tradition based on something that, you know, like, I mean, in Canada, we're pretty multicultural here. So it's like, let's absorb each other's different flares for things. But yeah.
Right.
Nice. So, Zane, before we sign off, what would you like to plug? Promote?
If you are healthy, consider donating blood. It is
Yes,
very, very imperative.
I do. It's in you to give.
Yeah, like
needs to give.
there are a lot of people that need it, and there are a lot of people that can't
Yeah.
give. So if you are someone who is healthy and able, consider giving
Yes.
blood, especially if you are O blood
O
type.
positive.
I am O positive as well. And then outside of that, I have a YouTube
That's
channel.
Yeah.
It's my2credits. I do my Lego City stuff on there, some Star Wars stuff. I might expand to talking about books on there. I don't know. But yeah, I try to do a video weekly. I am not very consistent, but I'm trying to get better at it. My goal this year was to do, I started my channel in like March. And when I started the channel, I wanted to put out 20 videos in my first year. I'm 16. We are at 8 weeks-ish left. So I feel like I should definitely get there. Once I felt like I could hit 20, I made a stretch goal of 25. So we'll see if I can get 9 more this year. And so, yeah.
And on Instagram, it's also my2credits on Instagram.
Yep, my2credits on everything.
Are you on Twitch?
I have a Twitch account. I streamed Jedi Survivor on there, but Twitch is fine. Like I enjoy watching a lot of the creators there more than I enjoy streaming because I just feel like I get more enjoyment out of video editing and creating videos and that kind of content than I do from Twitch. So for me, Twitch is kind of on the back burner, but I have an account. So like, if you're someone on Twitch, shoot me a DM and let me know. I'd love to check out your stream and like give you a follow. But like, you don't need to follow me there. I don't do enough on there. I'm on Twitter as well, but I don't do much on there either.
Yeah.
So my main social medias are YouTube, Instagram, and I am on TikTok, but I don't use that as much lately.
Or yet.
Nice.
Yeah, I definitely talk. I definitely talk a lot more about Star Wars books on TikTok than I do anywhere else.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
TikTok.
Okay.
But it's my 2 credits across the board.
Awesome.
So
Well, thank
we're gonna
you
start
so
saying.
much. Yeah. Thanks so much for hanging out here on Friday night. Sign off. Special thanks also to all those who joined us on chat, including Lego Team B, Armand, Macro, Danny, Howie Stuff, Brick Hive, Brick Jedi, Rob Claxton, Cody. Thanks for the 10.
Yes.
Stud Sidious, Clever Pig, Nikki Bricks, and Secret Squirrel. Please hang out with us next Friday again if you can. But for now,
Thanks a lot, Zane, for hanging out with us for this Friday night.
see how fast 2 hours can fly?
Thanks
I have-
so much for having me, guys. I really
Yes.
enjoyed it, and
that was
I really
great.
appreciate you bringing me on. This is my first podcast appearance for Lego.
Awesome.
Awesome.
really
And
enjoyed it.
until next time.